Aptly named Tired and Cranky.
Yeah, dude. This has been the longest goddamned weekend ever.
Yeah. We'll get into it in a second. Let's knock this out. I really don't even want to go through this.
Yeah, okay.
But CQ was on a couple of weeks ago with us, a Pop Culture Warrior. Sent us some shirts. I've got one on. You've got one on right now. Yes, they're nice, comfortable, soft shirts. Let's see here. Two Brothers Podcast. I think they're back. And then the Trevor Jackson podcast. Been talking with Trevor about having him and his relatives that he does his Friday night show on with us. Redneck News Entertainment and the Redneck Review podcast. The Andy Harris on Twitter for some very angry tweets, t-shirts and stickers. We're working on checking out a new website to see if we can get that back up going. So if you want something, you can email us and we can get it sent to you, but there's nowhere to order. b3fpodcast.com. Tell us what you really think.
Yeah, listen, share, subscribe, all that shit.
Yes, please do, because that's what helps us.
Yeah, and really we're the only ones we care about. So
that's true. So,
did you see that Mr. Andy Harris's fiance liked my reply to one of his tweets today?
I didn't see that. I haven't been on Twitter.
He posted a picture of them and like another couple, and they just said, "Look at these cuties."
Yeah,
and I said, "Yeah, they are all pretty cute." I said, "But the guy on the left in the hat." I said 10 out of 10 would smash.
Pretty good.
So, yeah,
good.
And something about him being very fuckable. I don't remember, but yeah,
that's good. So that came from your personal account?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. You save all your funny stuff for your personal account.
Yeah. I always forget about our shit, like to get on there and post stuff. And I should do it more often, but
that's fine. So congratulations to our good friend Jordan, who got married last weekend. It was a hell of a wedding. I had a great time.
I texted him and I said, "Thanks for the invite, asshole. Not that we would have come, but Jesus." And he was just texting me, "LOL." Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Jordan.
Yeah. So let's pour some drinks, motherfucker.
What are we drinking tonight?
We are drinking.
What are we drinking all of tonight?
Knappogue. I don't know fucking how you actually pronounce it. Probably Knappogue. But Castle, it's a 12-year single malt. It was $40.
Nice.
And so comparatively for a 12-year, that is cheap as shit.
We will see. Did you see where Redbreast has a 27-year out now?
What?
Yeah, I don't know what the cost is, but I saw their social media post about it the other day.
That's new. That's new fucking life goals right there. If it's a 27, holy shit.
Yep, Redbreast 27.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That is not bad for a $40 whiskey.
No, it's different.
It's actually, to me, it's on par with like the Bushmills 12.
That's different. I'm gonna have to stew on that for a little bit.
It's got a little bit of a bite on the back end, but the front end's pretty smooth. It's not hollow, and I'm happy with that.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
Tonight, it's got notes of fucking sadness and anger.
So even though there's only 1 day difference right now in when we're recording and streaming than normal, it feels like forever ago that we were in here. It really does.
It also feels like it's fucking 2 a.m. Like
it does, and it's an hour earlier than normal, or 30 minutes earlier than normal.
Yeah, and it would have been a full hour, but I was late. So
that's fine. But anyway, so Gabe was over yesterday.
Yeah,
Gabe would have had originally we talked about doing this on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabe was going to be here with us, and because we originally told him Friday night,
but I moved shit around.
That's fine. You had to do what you had to do. It actually worked out better for the both of us anyway. But so he's gone. His dad is in Huntsville with his wife and kids for a month at visiting Gabe's grandmother.
Okay.
And so Gabe and Kelsey are in Huntsville spending the day with all of them.
Okay.
And
well, before you get too balls deep, also I want to real quick shout out to my wife, because she always pops on the beginning to make sure shit is actually working. So she just said everything.
Oh, nice. So, thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay.
Must be nice to be married to someone that supports this.
Right. She barely supports this. She supports me. She says fuck the podcast, but she supports me.
Right. I got you. If you like it, I like it.
No, it's not even that. It's like if you enjoy doing it,
I tolerate
then it's okay. It's not my favorite thing because it's every goddamn Saturday. But outside of that, like she doesn't mind us doing the podcast.
Well, you will have all of next weekend free.
Yep.
We'll probably have to do Thursday or Friday night, but you'll have Saturday and Sunday and everything.
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
No Thursday.
No Thursday.
That's fine.
Yep.
We'll figure it out. God, we'll figure it out. But somehow. To anyone listening or watching
let's do Wednesday.
We'll see. But what I'm saying is we may not have a live show this coming week.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
the audio we will not miss an audio show.
Oh no, not at all.
But life, as it is, may sometimes get in the way of the live stream. But we will not miss a Monday. So anyway,
I mean, we have at least 4 more episodes before I quit.
Right, at least. Well, yeah, this one makes 5 more.
Yeah, so I'm saying 4 more after this.
Yeah. So I was talking to Gabe yesterday because he came out of the house, drop his dog off, and get his table they had for sale out. And so he said, "So how was the show?" And talking about his friends Justin and Cordell being here last week,
which they were fun. They were fun.
Yes, and I said, well, Cordell was great. I said Justin was great as well, but Justin,
I don't feel like he liked me at all.
Well, when we didn't talk about movies or TV shows or that kind of thing, he really didn't say a lot.
Right.
And I said, and he looked appalled at the rants that Steven would go on, is what I said to Gabe. And Gabe said, "Yep, that sounds exact." And I said, Cordell, it didn't matter what we talked about. He had something to say and was having fun.
Yeah.
And so when they left here, Cordell said, "We need to have you guys on our podcast sometime." And Justin was probably thinking, "Motherfucker, wait till we get in the car and we can talk about this first."
Yeah, because again, like I don't think he had a bad time.
Sure.
Like, I don't feel like by the end
I don't
of
think
it,
it's what he expected.
By the end of it, I wasn't in high regard in his eyes.
Sure.
And I don't think that I don't think
go to our Instagram or Facebook page. You can see the photo I posted of him just looking appalled at the whatever rant Steven was going on at the time. I don't remember which one that was, but anyway, but Gabe said that's Justin Cordell. Cordell will talk about anything. It doesn't matter. And he can shit talk and whatever. And Justin, he said, Justin can dish it out, but can't really take it.
Oh, and I bagged on him a good bit.
Yes, you did. From the start of the show when you told him that Bacardi and Coke was a bitch drink.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that's what I told Gabe. He was like, "Yeah, that probably did it because he can't handle being made fun of."
And I think I said that, and then that was But I mean, for most people, I am very abrasive when they first talk to me. And that's fair. Like the guy that played bass with me in Hawaii, Josh Edelstein, ends up being a pretty good. He is Jewish, yes. Thanks for asking. But when he first saw me play, he told me, he's like, I looked at him, he's like, that guy's a douche. I will never be fucking friends with that guy ever. Like, fuck him.
He said that about you?
Yeah.
I'll play music with him, but I'll never be friends.
No. He wouldn't even do that. Like, he hated me. And then he got to know me a little bit. Yeah. Just because we played music in the same circles. And now he loves me. Like
Gotcha.
He texts me every now and then and just say, I miss you. I'm like, oh, that's sweet.
Nice. You got a heap friend.
Yeah. but he's always, when he first met me, he was like, fuck this guy. He's a douchebag. I will never be friends with that asshole.
How did that make you feel?
That's fine. It makes me happy. Okay. Like I won you over with my fucking charm.
That's what, but when you get that first response from somebody, is that ever like, am I? Do you ever like, am I a douchebag?
I don't care at this point in my life.
Abrasive, sure, but douchebag? Do you ever think that?
In some instances, I'm an absolute douche. Everybody's a douchebag to a point. The thing is do you choose a lifestyle of douchebaggery, or are you just a douchebag every now and then? Right. And I think douchebaggery coming in spurts is probably fine. It's just when you're consistent douchebag, like I'm consistently an asshole, but I'm a kind asshole. Like I won't treat anybody poorly
that doesn't deserve it.
Right.
Yeah.
And usually I start with at least we've talked about this, a baseline of respect. As soon as they drop that, that's fine. But I will treat everybody kindly and nicely. Now, if my personality and whatever comes out of my mouth offends them, then fuck them. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's where the abrasiveness comes from. Like, I went on the rant about, if his friend died, it wouldn't fucking matter. And he was like, it wouldn't matter. I was like, outside of an emotional attachment, it wouldn't fucking matter. But,
yeah. That's yeah. I mean, but really, truly, if you boil it down to anytime anyone dies, it's really that emotional attachment, and that sucks. I'm never going to see them again until we get on God's holy shore.
Yeah.
Then that's really where it ends.
Yeah. When we get called back in Abraham's bosom.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, that's what Gabe confirmed. That's their personality. That's how they are.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but yeah, and he said he told him ahead of time, like, you guys need to listen to a few episodes and know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
When we
tell that to everyone.
We do. And I think they said when they got here, they listened to a little bit of one, and I can't remember which one they said.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Old Anders commented on today and he was like, oh, I've got to watch that one. I was like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Should watch all of them, but
you should. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm truly surprised that we have not had a single walk-off of a guest yet. All of our guests have been really fucking
I think
cool
we've
for the
had a
most
lot
part.
of mental walk-offs.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of people just mentally check out.
Right, for sure.
So,
But I just mean we haven't had anybody be like pissed off and leave.
Yeah.
But I feel like, dude, like we have you like the implications. You're in a basement with us, bitch.
So 1 year ago today is when
Troy, what's up, my friend?
Hey, what's up, Troy? 1 year ago today is when Elon sent that rocket off. Whatever it was.
My rocket off.
Yeah. But anyway,
so what does that?
I don't understand. It was a year ago today. It didn't feel like it's been that long ago. Time is interesting to me as I get older. Like the way certain things feel like it just blazes by, and other things are like it just happened yesterday.
Yeah, but that's a very weird milestone to just think about a year ago.
I saw that today, that it was a year ago today.
I was like, that's a very fucking weird thing to have in your mind. Like,
no.
Well, today's 1 year old.
No. I saw that this morning on Facebook or something like that. It was like that. Wow, that was a year ago.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like, it's been 6 months since I had that fucking breakfast that was so good. Like, what the fuck?
Oh God. So yeah.
All right, Troy. Yeah, you will have to wait.
Guess I'll have to wait until Wednesday.
Yeah. Troy always bitches because we take the video down.
Troy, do you honestly ever get on and stay on the whole time that we're live?
No, the title is catchy.
Well,
just like all the fire hooks I drop.
So we spitting bars in here. No, so yesterday, I officially don't have teenagers anymore. The youngest turned 20.
Nice.
So
that's right.
She turned 20 yesterday, and we said, "What do you want for your birthday? What do you want to do? What She's like,
a baby."
Yeah. She said, "Let's just go eat brunch somewhere." Like all of. She's like, "No, just the three of us."
Nice.
Like, she's like, cut her brothers out of it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for her.
You saved me some money.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
I went to Fayetteville for the weekend.
I know. And I was wondering when you were going to bring this up.
I was waiting on you. I'm being patient. A little back. Well, we got to fill time here tonight.
Sure. And that's what I was doing until you bring this up. Go ahead.
Okay.
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville. So I was there all weekend because my grandmother is not doing too well. And there's a good chance it might be the last time.
There's a good chance it's your fault.
Yeah, that's possible. But so my kids, like they were going to be here this weekend anyway. And then kind of decided last minute, well, since it's a longer weekend, it wouldn't be too bad. I could take them to see my family. So, potentially the last time they see my grandmother, what the fuck ever. So we stayed at my sister's house last night. Always awesome. And so my sister and her husband have gotten super churchy and religiously and all that good stuff, which is fine. Like no, fuck you. I shaved before. Go back a few. That shows how much Troy watches this because I shaved this and I looked like a fucking fat boy. So thanks, Troy, for the support. Always. I love you.
Heck no.
But so went up there, but my sister and her husband have gotten super heavy into church now. Really just full blown Baptist, full blown
fundamentalist.
Close, probably.
King James only.
I don't know. But anyway, I did find out because she was saying, "Oh, mom wants to take the kids, all the grandkids, to the Ark exhibit, the Creationist Museum in Kentucky this summer." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I don't care. Kids will like that shit." And I just said, "I'll just want to talk to them ahead of time to kind of." Prep them that some of the stuff might not be that accurate that they're going to see.
Sure.
And she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, like the earth being 6,000 years old. And she was like, "What's wrong with the earth being 6,000 years old?" And I was like, "Oh, you're shitting me." And then she went on and was like, something about the moon dust. I'd never heard some study. And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, our preacher talked about from the pulpit." I was like, "That obviously makes it true." So I looked it up and there's a creationist thing that they take. And it was some study that was done like, or some theory calculation that was done like, it was years and years ago, like late 1800s or some shit, early 1900s. But anyway, it's been proven like partially correct. And then they changed because that's the great thing about science is they constantly change shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, but they've taken one part of that whole equation. And then they've obviously, like as Christianity can do, twisted and molded to say, well, because of this, it proves that there's only this amount of dust on the moon, and then that the Earth can't be older than this because the moon's supposedly fucking supposedly Jesus Christ. But and so it was this whole thing, and I was like, I can't even argue with this, And I was like, okay, what about dinosaurs? Did dinosaurs exist? And she was like, Well, yeah, of course. They have the bones. I was like, that creationist museum will tell you that dinosaurs didn't exist and their fossils are fucking plants to take the eyes away from God and the glory of his creation. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. They deny that dinosaurs ever walked the face of this planet. Fucking ever.
Right.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? And she was like, well, what about this? I said, I'll leave that to the thousands of scientists in the world that know way the fuck more than me, that aren't just some fucking half-cocked. Oh my God. So I didn't get too deep into it because I did a very poor job of representing it because I was so taken aback by her thinking there. I was like, what the fuck? So we're gonna have a conversation at some point in time. But
you and your sister?
Yeah, me and my sister. It needs
like, another conversation?
A real conversation that's not like around coffee with kids running by.
Like what? How's this conversation gonna go?
I don't know. I feel like because she's wanting to talk to me anyway about my salvation.
Of course she does.
And my biblical beliefs. And
sure.
It's a conversation that needs to happen. And I don't have the desire to like prove her wrong. Right. I really don't. But the small questions that pop up every now and then annoy the fuck out of me enough that I really just want to like, okay, let's sit down and let's hash this shit out. Ask me what you want to fucking ask me. Let me refute every fucking thing you're going to bring up. And then let's just move the fuck on with it.
Right.
So, and I'm ready for that. Like at first I was like, I don't want to have this conversation, but I'm at the point now. I'm like, no, motherfucker, let's sit down. Cause she goes, well, you know the Bible a lot better than me. So I don't understand why you don't believe this. I was like, because I know the fucking Bible better than you do. God damn it. So
yeah.
But anyway, but now I'm going to hell. So then the conversation is going to happen. And that's fine. Again, I have no problem with it. Like it's just, it's annoying me now to the point that
my thing is like, let's just be real about it. Like whatever, let's be real about what you think. Let's be real about what I think. Yeah. And then let's just agree to disagree.
Well, like you can pray for me. I have no issues with that.
Sure.
When I see you, it doesn't bother me if you just say, well, how are things going? You know, are you in church? If you want to ask, fine. But the little side comments about things and small stuff, that's what I want to get the fuck out of the way. And the funny thing is I'll take it from my parents. My mom really, as much as she disapproves of everything in my life, she won't fucking say it unless I ask her. Sure. Like I love my mom in the sense of she minds her own goddamn business. She'll tell me she's praying for me every now and then. And that's it. My dad doesn't give a shit about any of it. What are you rolling your eyes about?
No, just people that when people are like that.
Yes. Yeah. And so, but my sister's getting really back on that wagon, and her pastor's a piece of fucking shit. Like, fuck that guy I went to a service with her a few years ago for something. And from the pulpit, I almost stood up. Like I couldn't handle the shit that was coming out of his mouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't.
What? Can you have an example of something?
It wasn't anything doctrinally as much as,
of course not.
No, I mean, because I don't care.
Not even church doctrine, not even like,
well, he was talking that doctrine. Shit. No, they were talking that, but that shit does. I go to a certain type of Baptist church. I expect a certain type of doctrine to be preached.
Sure.
That doesn't bother me. I know what I'm getting into.
Sure.
But he started going off on sinners, needing Jesus and loving whatever. And then was talking about like making fun of some dude he worked with that was like seriously struggling with his life. Like gave all these examples, having a hard time. And he was like, it's because I bring up Jesus and he don't listen. So he deserves all this shit that he gets. He didn't say shit, obviously. Right. And then he was like, it's just like when you flip on the lights, all the cockroaches scatter. That's when you throw Jesus on, they just run away. I'm like, you're trying to, you care about people's souls and you're talking about people like they're pieces of shit. And like, you're making fun of this dude who's going through a divorce. He just lost his kids. He's struggling with alcoholism, like all this shit and he's basically just saying the guy deserves all of it. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? And he might have made stupid decisions to get him there. But as a pastor, as a Christian, you're supposed to be like, okay, I care about this person. I should probably help them in some way or another.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I was livid. That was a few years ago. Jesus. But all this influences all the shit. And the whole study, because she was like, yeah, what about the moon dust is what my sister said. And I was like, the what? Like, I had no reply.
What about Ziggy Stardust?
I was taken so far. I had no idea what to say. I was like, what? And I was like, send me that. And I was like, I Googled it like 30 minutes later. And I was like, oh, this makes sense to me now. But I was like, at that point, I wasn't going to come back and be like, I just Googled this. And, it's got to come up later. Anyway, you're waiting to play something. You're
no. I've got something here that maybe later, but I'm holding on to it. So I can focus on what you're saying. Yeah. And I don't lose this.
Yeah. But anyway, so that was with my sister. But like I said, we get along really well. That was a very small part of it, but it wound me the fuck up enough that I was imagine. Like, because I have to fight hard and you're the same way. If I know that what I'm thinking is right and the other person is just fucking ludicrously out there, it's really hard for me not to be a dick, but I choose not to be. So it's, it's exhausting, but Anyway, but otherwise, you know, my grandfather or grandmother's not doing good. My dad is not doing great memory wise, having some shit. But
that's what I was gonna say. Not doing great with how the grandmother's doing. Or not doing great.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, like we went there for a while today. We were there for maybe like an hour or so, and like he called me. He was like, "I thought you were gonna stop by before you left." He didn't remember any of it. I was there for like an hour conversation the whole night. So anyway, it's been fun. It's been a fun weekend.
Yeah.
But Jude, he was in special form.
Yeah.
So we were driving, and he was like, "Dad, can I tell you a joke?" I was like, "Yeah." He loves telling jokes, and he just says, "Ligama." I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Ligama." I was like, "What are you talking about, ligama?" And he just says, "Ligama" a third time. I was like, "Ligama what?" And he goes, "Ligama balls." I was like, "Jude, you know, it was hilarious." I couldn't, like, I laughed. I couldn't really fuss at him. I was like, I walked right into it. Like, you opened that fucking door.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. And
ligama balls.
Right. And then he talked about something like it would be funny if there was a person that went around and stole people's penises. Like, he just thought that was the most hilarious thing. He was talking about this. And and he decided, he goes, "You know what I'd call myself if I was stealing penises?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "The penis prospector." I was like, Jesus, Jude.
That's alliteration. It works.
So he kept bringing that up throughout the weekend, that he was the penis prospector, and he's been prospecting penises since he was born. And I was like, that sounds much different than you think it means.
Oh God.
He said, "Dad, when I was born, I prospected the doctor's penis." He said, "I have jars of penises in my house." And I was like, "Jude, you can't be doing that shit." Yeah.
Penis prospector.
The penis prospector. Yeah.
Oh. Well, so speaking of family, I didn't bring this up last week because we had guests on, but
Andre Jude is 10 years old.
Hey, Andre, what's up?
Hope you're doing well, my friend.
So last Friday night, not 2 nights ago, but anyway, my dad and stepmom came up, pick up his trailer, and we all had dinner over at Jessica's house. And
it's only been 20 minutes.
What?
I said, it's only been 20 minutes. Anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
It's fine. You're talking too fast. When you get worked up, you're going.
Fired the fuck up.
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, we just hanging out over there having dinner or whatever, and at some point, something was said about drinking, having a drink or something like that. My stepmom said, "Oh, I like rum."
Okay.
She's like, "I like rum, like a pina colada or something." Like, I can't remember what it wasn't, pina colada, but something else. I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "Got some rum over at the house and knock your socks off."
Right.
She's like, "Well, I don't know about that." And my dad said she doesn't drink anything, and she maybe she does every once in a while if she goes out with a friend or her daughter or whatever. Yeah. But I said, "We go on vacation, oh. We'll have a drink or whatever." And he said, "No, she won't either." My dad says, "No, she won't."
Oh shit.
He said, if she has a drink, she can walk home or something like that. Yeah, no. He said, "I don't drink. There's no need for her to drink either." I know. I know. And my brother said, "Well, you don't pee sitting down, but she does," or something like that. And he was like, "How do you know how I pee?"
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. That's a weird thing that came up because.
Well, that's a very Southern Christian man.
It is.
Thing.
Well, kind of.
Or Southern man. Anything.
So I'm finding out more and more in adulthood things about his parents. Like I had always heard that my grandfather, up until maybe my dad was 20, was just a raging alcoholic. It was like my dad and his brother would have to go,
which makes sense for a not liking alcohol. Or
yeah, but my dad and his brother would have to go to the bar and bring him home, like kind of when they were 16, and shit like that. So, but anyway, and I found out a little more that actually both my grandmother and my grandfather were raging alcoholics, and they used to get in knockdown, drag out fist fights.
Nice.
And I said, "Now wait a minute." Like, he would beat on her, and they're like, evidently they beat on each other. Yeah. Like, she gave it out just as well as he did. Yeah. And they both just quit on their own all of a sudden when, in, I don't know, I guess in the mid-70s or something like that. They just both quit cold turkey, never an AA meeting or church or anything like that. Just we can't keep doing this. We'll just stop.
Right.
And because I never saw either of them ever have a drink of anything ever in my whole life. Now they smoke like freight trains. Yeah. But anyway, I'm finding little things out about that.
That's interesting.
And then my dad said, my stepmom drinks, she can walk home. So it'll be a long walk from Destin next weekend.
Jesus Christ. I told you I had a buddy of mine that him and his wife used to basically fucking fist fight. It was insane.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. She was Hawaiian, and like a lot of Hawaiian women, like if they hit you and you don't hit back, they don't respect your ass. Like they would expect you to stand up for yourself. And like,
I don't know if this is coming through on the microphone or not, but
matter.
there's somebody walking by with a dog because my dogs are losing their mind.
Yeah. But they would like he came in one time, he had a busted fucking lip, and I went over and she had a black eye, and like they used to just beat the shit out of each other. And it was like I've never seen a relationship that two people loved each other more and hated each other more at the same time. It was insane. Like they were always about to get divorced, or they were always the happiest two people. It was always one or the fucking other. And people were like, well, how could you beat your wife? It's like, because she beat him. It was self-defense half the time.
Where do you fall on that? On hitting a woman? I'm sure there's another phrase I was trying to come up with.
I believe in the minimal amount of force necessary to neutralize a situation.
My wife just texted me, so are you expecting somebody? I said, no.
What to expect when you're expecting?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
like I believe, just personally, like I said, in enough force to neutralize a situation, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's a 105, 110-pound woman and she's coming at me, I can put her on the fucking ground without fucking knocking her teeth in.
Okay. We can pause right here, or you can continue rattling on, but someone's at the door.
Okay.
And no one's expecting anyone.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go see what's going on.
Okay. Well, I have nothing to talk about. So, we'll do a quick for the two people fucking watching right now. We're going to be right back because I have, nothing to talk about by myself. And I'm not that interesting without Joey to fucking mock. All right. Mormons.
All right. Mormons. Yeah, missionaries.
That was very fucking weird.
They've been to, because we have I don't know if you've noticed, but at the beginning of the entrance way to our neighborhood's the Latter-day Saints church.
Yeah. Do you ever I used to really fucking like letting Mormons in and fucking talking and hanging out. Like I love that
I have talked to them before, let them give me the Book of Mormon. And actually when they said, so do you care if we give you this? Have you ever heard of the Book of Mormon? I said, isn't that a musical? And they said, yeah, but it's not really true.
Right.
I'm like,
have you seen Orgasmo?
Yeah. Well,
no, I had so when Miller Radway came and lived with me for a little bit in Hawaii.
Just throw his name out there completely.
I don't give a shit. Miller Radway lives in Fayetteville, Tennessee. He came to live with me in Hawaii for a little bit. And we had Mormons. We lived right by a Mormon church. They came all the time. And I was like, it's hot as fuck. They're out walking around. And I was like, hey, you want to come in? Like, I'll get you some water or whatever the fuck. And half the time they'd have to sit on the porch. They really couldn't hang out in the house. But I'd have him talk to him, whatever. But he was there and he was convinced he wanted to fucking debate and argue the Bible and show them that they were wrong and they're in a cult and all this other shit.
Miller wanted to do this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, dude, just settle the fuck down. They're just people. It's their religion. They want to talk. It doesn't hurt anything to fucking just hang out with them for a little bit. You might learn something. And he went off on this big debate talking to these people. And he fucking made this one girl. She was young as shit.
I've never seen the girls on a mission before.
Yeah. And
always been guys.
Made her cry. Fucking cry. And I was like, you're such a fucking asshole. He was like, well, they need to hear it. And I was like, you're a fucking dick. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Andre just reminded me enough force to neutralize the situation. Well played.
Hold on just a second. The Mormon guys said, are you, call me by my name, are you Joey? And it's like, yeah, because they've been here multiple times, or not these same two, but
you should have invited them down on the podcast.
I almost did, but Crystal would not have been happy with me inviting two people we don't know into the house.
Okay.
So but anyway, they said, is now a good time to talk? And I said, it's actually not. I'm in the middle of a podcast. And they said, oh, you're doing the podcast? I said, yes. And they said, oh, that sounds fun. What's it about? And it's like, a lot of things. That's what I said. A lot of things.
Right. It's about Mormonism in modern America.
Right now, we're talking about John Smith, or not John Smith. Oh, fuck it. Who cares? I've lost it. But anyway, when they first time they ever came here, Gabe and Matthew were both still living here, and they were always here during the day and sleeping in because they had jobs and things for in the evening or whatever. So I told the Mormons, like, it's actually not a good time, and I'm normally not here.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm normally here, but I'm normally asleep at this time. But I said, if you come back at like 11 a.m. on a weekday, you should catch me, because I thought Chris will be gone, Olivia will be gone, I'll be gone, and they would ring the doorbell, and Gabe or Matthew would have to answer the doorbell.
That's amazing.
And it backfired, and it ended up happening one day when Krista was home, all out of school, and they came. I wasn't here, but anyway. So where do you fall on hitting a woman?
And again, it's enough force to neutralize, the situation. So like I said, if it's a 105-pound woman coming at me, I can put her on the ground without fucking having to punch her. I can keep her off, whatever. But if there's a big fucking Samoan 6'2" woman and she's taking swings, yeah, fucking shit's on.
Yeah.
You know, I have no issue with that. Now, I'm a little conflicted when I have seen a woman at a bar, running her mouth, like absolutely out of control. That if any
running
dude,
checks her boyfriend's ass can't cash,
right? And it wasn't, she wasn't even there with her boyfriend; she was there with her girlfriends. And if any dude was running her mouth that much in most bars, he would have had his teeth knocked in.
Yeah.
And like one dude stood up and pushed her, and he basically borderline got the shit kicked out of him. You know, like pulled out of the bar and stuff. And I was like, all he did was push her. And I was like, in this situation, like if I saw somebody haul off and knock her teeth in, I probably wouldn't have said, like in most cases, if I see a dude beating on a woman, I'm going to fucking step in and say something. But in that instance, as long as they weren't beating her, but one pop in the mouth, I'd have been like, like when he started talking about like glad that I guess she knew the guy and was started talking about like, I'm glad your mom's dead. You had like some like mean shit. Like, I hope your fucking dad gets cancer like your mom or like some fucked up shit. I was like, at that point, like I couldn't do it, but I would not step in if a dude fucking knocked her ass out.
Sure.
So, but
I'm kind of the same way.
But my whole thing is, as far as like hitting a woman, is it's not part of it's how I'm brought up, right? Like the morality behind it. But at the same time, there are not many women, and I'm not talking about like women that train, like they're in the minority really as far as women, but there aren't many women that like I'm not physically stronger than, you know, like average speaking.
Well, the average man can take the average woman,
right?
If they got into a bar fight,
exactly, in a fight. And I'm not talking about like deadlifting some shit, but as far as it comes to a physical altercation,
right?
And so because of that, like more restraint is required, because if again, say it's a girl that's like a $115, a $105. If I hauled off and clocked her in the mouth, she's probably not going to get the fuck back up. And at least know, not for a little while. And there's no need for it. Even if she has it coming, like I should be like, it's kind of like there's times that a fucking little kid deserves to be punched in the goddamn mouth, but that's child abuse, right? You can't do it because you're so much bigger than the kid.
Sure.
Now an 18-year-old running their mouth, if Jude was 18 and looked me in the eye and said, fuck you.
Ligama?
Right. So like, no, if he looked me in the eyes was like, fuck you, dad, I'd probably clock him because he's 18. He's not a fucking like 10-year-old. Now, if 10-year-old Jude said, fuck you, dad, he's in big fucking trouble and he's going to wish he didn't say it, but I'm not going to physically fucking knock his, break his little fucking nose because there's a restraint, right? Because he's a quarter of my size.
Sure.
And I think that's how logically I apply that, right? Because there's no reason for me to punch, like to dominate the shit out of a.
Well, not just that, but one day you'll wake up and you're going to have a dick. I mean, he's going to prospect that shit.
right. No, I'm just but there's no need, in my opinion, to do that because, and to me, that's more of a sign of somebody that's a mature adult, is be able to show restraint.
Yeah.
Because if you lose your temper, and that's, I mean, I use the example that any dude be punched in the face. I probably like verbally, there's not a lot somebody can do that's going to make me fucking hit them. Like they can say whatever the fuck they want. It's when if they start threatening that I have an issue, right?
Sure.
But like somebody could come up and say some fucked up shit, and I'm not going to fight him. Just like fuck off, whatever.
Right.
But as soon as he either touches me or says he's going to beat my ass, and that's a whole different game. Well, then it's fucking game on. But like I'm not a big believer in just. I love violence and I think it solves a lot of things, but I still think it's a last resort. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And to me, if I don't have to fucking beat the shit out of somebody, I'm not going to beat the shit out of somebody.
Right.
Just whatever.
Sure.
And I'm fat and old now too. Like in my mind, I can still hold my own in any fucking fight in the world. And what really boils down to, like, if some like 20-year-old fucking bitch wanted to fight me, by bitch, I mean dude,
sure,
female, but like I would confident, like, if I could win that fight in the first like 45 seconds to a minute, I'm confident. But if it goes outside of that, I'm fucked. They're gonna beat the fuck out of me because won't be able to breathe, won't be able to swing. Just be tired.
Well,
I kind of that old man strength. What about you?
Well, I kind of fall into the same thing. It's like it's a last resort. Hitting a woman would be a last resort.
Right.
Do anything else I can do first.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I can. Oh God, like I said, I'm starting to learn things as I get older. I'm also starting to remember things as I get older that happened. And I can remember when my dad was leaving my mom, just leaving the house, and my mom was going insane, like not fighting or hitting him or anything, like holding him, trying to hold him in the house or whatever, and going just insane. And I can remember walking into their bedroom because I'm hearing the screaming of my mom and my dad trying to remain calm.
Right.
And seeing him just like straddling her by the shoulders, just like shaking her, like, you got to stop, you got snap out of it kind of thing or whatever. And then him getting up and walking out. But it's just, I don't know.
It's weird.
It's weird shit like that.
It's especially weird, like I said, growing up where we come from, that the irony of that is you're taught you never hit a woman, but so many Southern dudes beat the fuck out of their women.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
that's not a woman, that's a wife.
Right. There's a difference. But okay, so punching a woman versus a one-time like smack, like a backhander smack across the face. Is there a difference?
I mean, I think it's a heart issue. No, I think,
and I guess that might be a better way for me to put, like, a woman at the bar, like how that happened. Like, if I had saw a dude full out, like, closed fist, like, knock her fucking teeth in, I might have had an issue with that. But if he'd have hauled back and like pimp slapped her ass, then I'd have been like, okay, she deserved that.
It's hard for me to imagine ever slapping someone.
Yeah.
To me, slapping feels way more disrespectful.
Oh, disrespectful, but not harmful.
I get
emotionally harmful.
Sure. I guess.
Yeah. I've smacked some, like, a dude in the face before, and they did not like it at all.
I bet.
It was one of those
feels
things,
disrespectful.
It was one of those things, like, we were halfway, like, just fucking around fighting, like, just whatever. And he started getting fucking mad. And so, of course, I made that worse.
Sure.
So I tied him up and just started, hey, stop, little bitch. Fucking stop. Just on the cheek. And it was hard enough that it stung, but not like full on.
Right.
Oh, it's demoralizing as fuck.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah. You didn't like let your spit hang over his face or anything for I found out Gabe used to do that to Matthew and Olivia.
Yeah. But no, I'm just saying, like, I think I have less of an issue. Again, but the danger is, I mean, you say you condone it, then people are like, well, I only hit her when she makes me mad. I'm like, or she says something like that. No, that's not how that fucking works, I don't know. It's such a weird thing because, you want true equality. And in theory, that's like fucking, okay, I'd beat the shit out of another man, then I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
So that's what I was going to, my follow-up question was going to be, do you feel like not hitting a woman is sexist?
By the definition of the technical definition, 100% it's sexist as fuck. It's double standardized anyway.
All right, guys, if you hear that, if you want to prove that you're feminist, you gotta hit a woman.
No, but I'm saying, like, by the definition and what's thrown out there, right? Fucking by that logic, yes,
absolutely, yes,
yeah. I mean, I don't think it's anti-feminist not to hit a woman. I mean, it's self-control. It's the same as you show control hitting somebody else. But I mean, admittedly, I'm more apt to hit a dude any day of the fucking week.
Yeah.
But even then, that's considered like, it's, you punch a guy in the face at a bar now, you're going to fucking court. Like, there's very little. It depends on where you're from and where you're at. But I'm just saying, like, you go to Prez Pub downtown and some fucking little college trust fund kid is running his mouth. You fucking, break his nose. You're fucking going to jail and probably getting sued.
Sure.
Which is fucking stupid.
It is.
And that's, I think we've talked about this. Part of the problem is there's no consequence to action anymore. Because used to, at least when we grew up, and every generation, it's where, because my grandfather's told me some fucking stories about him, like, beating the shit out of him getting the shit out of him, like groups of people. But there is something that's lost when there's no.
Andre said punching a woman is definitely worse than slapping.
Absolutely. But it's just, I don't know. Like, I have an issue when there's no consequences to any actions.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to what you were saying is, by the definition of equality, you have equal opportunity to fucking knock whoever out,
Sure.
But it just depends, I think, if you're willing to take the stance of, like, I'm better than that or not.
Sure.
But but by the definition of equality, but the irony is, for all the positives that really are in the feminist movement, like, there are some really great things that have come out of it, and they're still coming out of it, but there's a lot of fucking bullshit too.
Yeah. Well, any movement is like that.
Yeah, for sure.
In our time, we're seeing a lot in the feminist movement.
Yeah. But it's funny. Amanda was showing me this article the other day, and she was like an old school feminist, like feminist in the 60s, 70s, and wrote a book basically calling all the feminists now fucking cunts that are ruining the cause.
What was the
feminism.
Person's name? Because
I don't remember, but she got attacked, like, saying she was disgrace to feminism.
Yeah.
And her whole thing was like, listen, feminism is about empowering women to have an equal voice in voting and all that shit. It's not about suppressing men. It's not about degrading men. It's about empowering women. And I thought, like, I to me, that was a moderately profound statement, that the whole point of
Absolutely.
feminism is to uplift women,
Yeah.
equalize things for women, but not to degrade men and not to throw them out. Because now, granted, we have a lot of shit as a male species that we can fucking work on, that need to work on, and that need to change. But, and we've talked about this. We got in a big long debate about the whole pendulum thing, and like ideally, right? It's like this moves, changes where it needs to, and this changes where it needs to, and it meets in the fucking middle. That's not how American society works anyway. You know, shit's gonna go way one direction before it comes back the other. But um I don't know, but I thought that was interesting that somebody that's a matriarch of the feminist movement gets called an anti-feminist because she speaks out against modern feminists. Because a lot of them, they'll say, well, it's not about emasculating men, but it absolutely fucking is.
And nowadays, yeah.
And but a lot of those are on the fringes of that shit for sure. Because like in any movement, the loudest voices are the ones that get heard the most.
Right. The problem with that is with any movement, not just feminist movement, is like if you're truly in the movement and trying to do good, you're supposed to call your own nuts. Like you should be like rounding those people up and going, hey, just shut the fuck up for a little while.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, it's with any movement. There's too many of them. There's way too many to round that in. And with the age of that we're in, communication, internet, you can't like round people up that have a free voice to speak publicly about any fucking thing. And then you got enough fucking trolls and holes in the wall that are going to come out and they're going to support whatever bullshit that they believe in on the internet. So it's fucking stupid either way. But
I agree. Yeah.
But I mean, we're at the point, and it's a progression. Absolutely. Because our generation had less common sense than our parents' generation. Common sense. I feel like there's certain elements that are absolutely, they get more evolved like along the way. Like one of the big things that I think is beneficial that's really come out over the last 20 years is less of a, I hate the fucking word stigma, so I'm not going to use it, but less of a hatred for people that are trans or you know, the LGBTQ movement. Like there's more of an acceptance of, hey,
LGBTQ plus,
fuck that plus. But but you know, but it's one of those things that like there's more of a, and I feel like it's gone too far in one direction, right? Because like the whole concept of a gender identification, like medically speaking, is called gender dysmorphia. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong, but there's a medical term for it because it's caused by, well, on any number of reasons, but it's just that feeling of not identifying as, you know, whatever you're in the body with. And it's a mental condition. And I'm not saying it's a crazy or something that's wrong with them, but it's a way of how their brain is.
Well, it is wires crossed, or whatever, however you want to describe
and,
it.
But it's the same way, you know, people that are born gay, or I say born, I hate that term now because it feels so antiquated to say that way. But people that are, I don't think that it's always a choice. I absolutely don't.
No. There are people that do choose
because of trauma or what the fuck ever else. But it's the same way. Like as far as like gay people are still in the minority of the population. So their brains, when they come out, are wired differently than the majority. Right. And that doesn't mean it's a mental illness or there's something wrong with it. And that's how it was treated for a long fucking time. But it means it's different. And I feel like something that's really been good over the last, you know, especially decade or so, is the understanding and less judgmental attitude that's taken towards that stuff. And I think that's a good thing. But it's at the point too where it's forced acceptance or forced approval of it. So like if you're a person based on your religious beliefs, based on whatever, that you don't agree and you think that it's whatever the fucking reason is, you're villainized and you're treated like fucking garbage. And it's for your opinion, which is stupid. You know what I mean? I can get to be like, I think you're wrong. You view this differently than me. I think it's stupid to be like, fuck you. You're going to lose your job because you don't believe in their pronouns. That's some fucking bullshit. You know, 100%, because that's not equality. Because equality means I'm allowed to view things how I view things. You're allowed to view things. We have an equal footing for that.
So I watched this documentary talking about free speech on college campuses and how safe spaces.
Don't get me started on that shit.
Right. But safe spaces have basically kind of pushed free speech off of a college campus.
Right.
And college was where you were supposed to go to get differing viewpoints.
That's where you went as a Christian and came out as an atheist.
Well, but you were supposed to go and be exposed to differing viewpoints because that's how you grow as a human being, not to go be in this crazy echo chamber and nothing can offend you.
Right.
And one of the guys in the documentary asked someone, does free speech does that include hate speech?
Right.
And some, you know, some students were like, as much as it sucks, yeah. And then some are like, no, absolutely not. Once it's hateful or offensive, then
But
it's
that's
not.
the thing is most people's definition of hate
That's
speech
it.
is based on their understanding of hate, not the legal definition of hate
Well, it's
speech.
also based on their own ability or inability to let something roll off their back
Right.
or not be offended or whatever. I mean, but
well, because hate speech isn't offensive speech. It isn't even a racial slur. That's not hate speech.
Yeah.
You know, hate speech is using your words to incite violence against a race or a group of people.
Yeah.
That's fucking hate speech.
So in the documentary, there's a former, I say former because he ended up, anyway, regardless. Weinstein is his last name, and it's not Harvey. Before you make the joke, it's not Harvey. I cannot think of his first name.
Right.
He's been on Rogan a million times. He's buddies with Rogan and different people, but he's like this super liberal, like front lines protester when rights are violated and things like that. And he was a professor at Evergreen College, which I think is in Washington State.
Which sounds like a college you go to after all of your other options are
beautiful. It's like way out in like the woods. It's just beautiful. Anyway, he's this super liberal guy, but he's like true liberal, not leftist. But,
and there's a difference.
He rides a bike to work every day because he's. I'm just saying like this. I'm trying to paint the picture of him as rides a bike to work every day.
He's liberal because he rides a fucking
no. I'm just saying this is just part of it. He rides a bike because he doesn't want to have an effect on the environment and things like that. So. Regardless, there's this thing, and I can't think of what it's called, but it was this one day a year where any students of color would stay home and not go to class. It was kind of it was understood this is an excused absence, but it was to bring light to what the world would be like without people of color.
Right.
And everybody in the South's like, fuck, don't we have that shit down here? But no.
I was actually about to say something about that, but go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, but and like people are like, yeah, great idea. Well, so the last year he worked there, the people on campus got together and said, not only are students of color not going to class, all faculty and students that are white, you're not allowed to come to campus today.
Okay.
Either. And he said, nah. That's where I draw the line. Like I'm pro the movement, but this is where I draw the line on this. So I can't come and teach my class because of the color of my skin. So because
which is a whole different kind of discrimination.
That's it. It's like this movement. This what we're doing. What you're saying today is not bringing light to what it's like if people of color aren't around. This is now saying white people aren't allowed to be around, or anyone that's not black or indigenous or whatever. And he was physically attacked. Security guards had to keep him off of campus when he tried to get on campus.
Wow.
They put him in a guard shack and said, you need to leave now while the coast is clear. We're not allowed to protect you.
Oh, shit.
And left, went home, came back. They had a big, quote, like campus hearing after a week or so about it. And they're asking questions about it or whatever. And he stood up to say something and was shouted down by students that he's not allowed to speak.
Wow.
At his own, quote,
tribunal.
Kangaroo court tribunal.
It's kangaroo court, Your Honor. It's kangaroo court.
Yeah. I mean, this whole tribunal not allowed to speak about it. And eventually he was let go, but given a massive severance on it or whatever. But
see,
it's just and that was one of the things he was saying was like, I don't understand. I've been on the front lines of anything protesting, anything right wing, anything infringing upon people's rights or whatever.
Any kind of cause that's right.
Any cause that's right. Like and to be told you're not allowed to speak on this subject or any subject anymore is an insane thing.
Well, there's several layers to that. One, I really fucking hate the fact, and you just mentioned this, is when people throw down we don't have a White History Month, we don't have a fucking WET. No, it's fucking stupid because and I realize everything can go too far, what the fuck ever else, but it's like you don't have hundreds of years of like historical contributions fucking smothered and shoved on the side because of the color of your skin. So hey, fuck you. And I was like trying to tell my daughter, because she was asking about Black History Month. I was like, hey, it's like I get it annoys the shit out of me that's only a month. I was like, this should, like, I get having a month to spotlight it, but there should be more like just integrated throughout the year period.
Well, I think Morgan Freeman said that one time. It was like, nah, I don't subscribe to Black History Month.
But I was telling her the importance of it, though, is the fact that you have hundreds of years of Black people that have had their contributions to history, to America, to science completely fucking whitewashed and squashed. I was like, that's why that's important. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, exactly. Because
who was you saying this to? Lyric. Okay.
And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, yeah, because they tell you it's Black History Month. They don't tell you fucking why it's Black History Month, which to me is just as important as having.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And BET exists because for a lot of years, and still to a point, a lot of mainstream media, because the majority of people are white, they appeal strictly to white viewers, or mostly to.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, great Black art.
Well, it's like stuff. The white kids had the money to spend on the albums and things like that.
And so there wasn't a lot of spotlight on Black art, and to have a one fucking channel dedicated to it. Like, why do you bitch about that? Like, I've never understood that. I remember hearing that growing up. Well, when BT is like, well, why do they get a Black entertainment network? I was like, because every other
you have CMT,
Dick. Yeah. Just like, do you bitch about Telemundo?
Right.
No, you do not.
No, I don't bitch about 700 Club.
Right. No, but like, I've never because like people were offended and still are like, why do they? It's like, okay, first of all, the fact that you're saying, why do they get paints that's problematic in and of itself.
It's very telling.
Yeah. But still, like, you're allowed to be racist. Not you specifically, but like, you're allowed to be racist.
No, I'm allowed to be racist.
Yeah, you are allowed to be racist, but I don't fucking understand, man. Like, there's parts of things that just, it angers me so much. It doesn't affect me.
Do you ever wonder if someone, let's just say Twitch, because that's more likely where someone would just randomly tune in to us when we're streaming on
Which
Twitch.
does that. We get like 1 or 2 a week, which is weird.
But you ever wonder, like, let's just say some random Black guy or whatever, like, tunes in on Twitch and is like, these are just 2 white guys in the South talking about Black history and racism and shit. And it, I get it. If you don't stick around, you're not really going to know where we're going with this, and it could come off the wrong way.
Well, it has.
That's the beauty of it.
We've talked about, there are so many clips from past episodes that if you took just out of context, we'd be so fired so fast because they sound so bad.
Well, even that, but we've said enough things that you could chop up and make us say whatever you want. But still.
But but the thing is like, the big thing with us,
I dare you to cancel me, mother.
Well, the big thing with us, Black History Month, very important. Didn't find out anything about history until after I left school and found out for myself. Yeah, except slavery, of course. I mean, but that's absolutely true. Like, I'm gonna show that comment because that's actually really good. I like Andre. He contributes,
love Andre,
which is fucking crazy to me.
And not only does he contribute, the fact that it is 1:23 in the morning. On a Sunday night.
What's really impressive to me is the fact that somebody from England can relate to Americans. Like, I figured that they were just, sitting out and having their tea and crumpets at 1 a.m. talking about the Queen.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I mean, I
celebrating Meghan and Harry leaving the royal family,
which I don't know, man. It bothers me, and the older I've gotten, the more that I see. And we've talked about this in our.
Guys talking about blacks, it's great. Something tells me that's not sincere.
No, but honestly, something that really opened my eyes to a lot of that is working with Traco. I told you that because because I have no issues asking anybody questions. Like, if you're offended by me asking a question that I'm legitimately wanting to know information on, then fuck you. And he grew up like,
although that's considered colonialism now,
I guess, asking questions.
Yeah,
really.
You're white. No one owes you an answer.
No one owes me an answer.
No, I understand that, but you shouldn't even expect an answer. You shouldn't even ask the question.
Wow.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, I usually preface it like, if any of this makes you uncomfortable and you want to talk, don't want to talk, that's fine. Just tell me. But if you're willing to answer questions, like, I'm genuinely interested. And it opened my eyes up a lot. So I worked with this guy named Traco. He grew up like ghetto Atlanta, like ghetto Atlanta, like hardcore, and ended up going to college, get his engineering degree, super smart dude. Only because one teacher told him that he was a piece of shit and wouldn't amount to anything, which is a whole different story. But like, because I have no concept of being a black man in the South. Obviously, like, no concept whatsoever. I can't even relate to it. Yeah, no, right?
Not
Crazy. But even relate, because I know people like, well, I'm in the South and I'm a man. It's fucking different.
It
But
is, yes.
but hearing him tell stories of how he's gotten pulled over and altercations he's had with the police and different things, I'm like, fuck me, man. Like I've never even considered some of these things.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me. And granted, you see things on the news and interviews, but actually having the face to face and having a genuine conversation was crazy. Now it's funny, and I understand why, but he ended up being super conservative, Trump supporting, hated the gays, like all this stuff. But I mean, I get how he got there, but anyway, but just the conversations we would have and him being willing to answer questions for me was a whole fucking eye-opening experience. And I was like, no wonder, like, I'm not a huge fan of the police as it is. And I get that they have a lot of negatives, but had I grown up in that environment and experienced some of those things, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I mean, I'm a bitter, jaded, angry motherfucker now for completely unrelated reasons, but even more so. Jesus Christ, the shit he's dealt with. Fuck.
Think about all the things that,
and I can't understand it.
Think about all. No, it's sincere. Unusual to see, but
No,
it is
legitimately,
good.
Andre, man.
Yeah.
We
really do.
love you.
Yeah, we love you guys. Honestly, I can't wait to talk to you guys and do our 3 the long way, hard way, whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing to think about all of any shit that you've gone through, excommunicated from the church, any of that kind of shit. If you weren't white, you'd have no choice but to believe that it was because of race.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like because of all this other shit. I mean, and I've heard someone, it's weird to say that this falls under white privilege because it's white privilege typically talks about other things, but even the bullshit that you deal with, a shitty neighbor writing a letter because I didn't rake my leaves as fast as they wanted me to or whatever.
Right.
I never have to worry or concern, or it never crosses my mind that someone is doing it because of the color of my skin.
Yeah.
And that's one thing.
You have a little more insight just being in a mixed family.
I've seen Gabe for sure deal with from the girlfriend front in times past, but
Gabe's a good looking black dude, by the way.
Well, it's not from my loins, but all right.
Right. Yeah. I'd bang him.
That's probably why.
I'd bang him.
No.
That's why. Yeah.
No. Oh God, there was something else, and you completely took my mind off of that I was gonna say. Oh, this was gonna say. This is one of the things that drives me a little bit crazy whenever I hear people talk about. Well, I mean, you look at me. I've had to work hard my whole life. I don't have white privilege. Like that's
not
only part of what white privilege.
Right.
Like, yeah. I mean, the kids, the grandkids from the royal family, whatever. They're getting the rich side of white privilege.
Right.
When you're a white guy and you get pulled over by a cop or you walk out of case in point, Gabe and several of his friends on their way to Bonnaroo, stopping at a Walmart, all buying the exact same things, walking out at the same time. Everyone passes through. Gabe is stopped by the door, greeter, and asked to see the receipt.
Right.
There's where white privilege falls in.
Yeah,
for most people in the South.
For sure.
People don't think of it that way.
Yeah. And I think it's especially prevalent in the South. I mean, it exists everywhere.
Absolutely.
But then we've talked about this. I believe in the fact that, and this is one of those things that could have been taken out of context many times. We talked about privilege before.
Yeah.
And the fact is I will 100% take advantage of my privilege. Like if I have, but that's anybody. If you have a privilege in a situation that can better your situation,
I think most people would.
Most
probably human nature.
It's human nature to take that, right? Now that doesn't mean you can't be aware of people's lack of privilege and try to help when you can. But if there's a job and it pays fucking $200,000 a year and it comes down to me or a person of color, I want the fucking job. I don't care why I get it, but it's going to provide for my family better. And it's not because I don't want that person to succeed. It's because I want to do better for my family. Sole reason. And if I got that job because I'm white as opposed to black, I'm not going to give that job up. Just being honest, right? But again, I think that's human nature.
Sure.
Just in the same way, as a black man, I can guarantee you, and we touched on this a little bit, I think, with Andre, and then when we talked to him, and maybe it wasn't Andre I'm thinking about, but we're juxtaposition, but
yeah.
About hiring somebody based on like affirmative action or equal opportunity. Yeah, we talked. That was them. But anyway, but just like I don't feel like that if because of affirmative action, a black man got a job or a Mexican man or woman, what the fuck ever, person of color, got a job that they weren't as qualified for because they were black. I get it. Like I wouldn't turn that down just like, no, you're just giving this to me because I'm black. It's like Oh, we talked about that because Matthew was talking about that as well, and I was like, we were talking about that Matthew was saying that about turning down a job because of if he got it because of whatever.
Yeah, or he even said he would turn down a scholarship to school.
Yeah, if it was a minority scholarship. Yeah, and I don't understand that, like, because to me, like, your whole goal in life is to make your life better for you and your family, and I'm not going to shit on anybody to do it.
Sure,
but if my standing socially, racially, what the fuck ever else it is, it doesn't matter to me. If I get an offer or I get something that's going to help my family, I'm going to take it. And again, not going to shit on somebody else or like sabotage them for whatever reason, because I'm not going to be mad if a minority that's less qualified than me gets the job. It's going to be, well, I wanted it, but fucking good for you, dude. Like, use what you got. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, as human beings, taking nationality, being an American, what the fuck ever else, taking all that away from it as a human fucking being, all you want is to have a better life than what you have now, right? And your family to be comfortable and taken care of. That's what it fucking boils down to. Is I want the most I can get for me.
Yeah.
And I think what draws the line between people that are fucking pieces of shit and not, if you're willing to step on someone else to get there. And if I'm not, and people say, well, you taking that job when somebody else could get it is stepping on somebody. It's like, no, because I'm not going out of my way to fuck them over because it's not my decision.
I did the same thing. Did somebody else is making the decision for right or for wrong.
And that's how I look at it. Like, they're making the decision. It's not on me. Right. And just because if it doesn't, I don't care. And at that point, I don't care what the reason is. All I know is by doing this, I'm in a better place in life. Right. That's all I care about. I don't give a shit about anything else. I don't care why, when, why, and I'm not going to ask because I don't want to know.
Sure.
Because I have to admit, if somebody was like, no, like somebody pulled me aside and was like, I'm just giving you this job because you ain't one of them colored folks.
Sure.
At that point, I'm going to have, like, do I want to work for this asshole?
Sure, absolutely,
like, But that's more of, do I want to work for some piece of shit that would do this?
Infiltrate and make change from
Jesus
within.
Christ. But if, no, but I mean, if it's that blatant, then yeah, I might fucking turn that shit down. But if it's just I don't know why, but that's their reasoning and whatever, like, I don't care. I don't fucking care. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
You know, I'm going to do the best I can for my family.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people would argue though, and I believe in this too, that you use your privilege to help other people. And I think that's a valid thing, right? And I don't mean like as a person that I'm going to degrade myself or take away from food out of my family's mouth to make a difference in somebody else's life.
Yeah.
My family's taken care of first. But if it's not going to cost me my family, my well-being, all those things, then I think absolutely, like, if I can get somebody a job that I know needs it, and I'm going to help. I'm going to do what the fuck I can. Like, if it's a hard place to get in the door, like, but I would do that for anybody, not just based on, you know, whatever. Like, if you were fucking hurting and needed a goddamn job, I hate you and I would help you get a job.
Sure.
You know what I mean? As so I'm torn on some of it. Like, but
sure.
But I mean, I guess
it's a fine line.
Yeah. But I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that it's there and not to stomp on other people because you have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And yeah. So I don't know. That's how kind of I look at it. And maybe I'm wrong for thinking of it that way.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if I have it and I'm aware of it, and don't shit on people because of it, then I'm not going to feel bad.
Right.
Because if I'm taking care of my family, that's what matters to me.
Right.
You know, because yeah, if I don't know you, I shouldn't say if I don't know you, but if it comes down to my family or you, I'm picking my family or even myself. And there's some sacrifice for sure. By the way, I realize I say for sure a lot, and people should take shots every time I say that.
Yeah.
But I want to see Gabe's drinking game, by the way, that he's making for this. I'm repeating myself at this point, by the way, so I'm pretty much done. We can get that later. We can read it off. Doesn't matter.
No, I was just trying to see if it was there. I'll look in a break. So I'm going to say one more thing on the same subject, and then we'll. Yeah. And I'm actually going to shout out.
Yeah, because I'm hitting rambling at this point.
That's fine. Then I'm going to shout out to Andre and Easy and with the website so that people can listen to them on Sundays. But you're talking about telling Lyric about Black History Month and why and the oppression and things like that. Well, 2 different days over the last week, I've watched Django Unchained because I scroll past Showtime and it's on, and it's a fucking great movie.
Yeah.
But I had it on last night, and my wife said, I'm having deja vu because I feel like you turned this on the other night at the exact same point. And I was like, I did. at the exact same point. She's like, well, I'm going in the bedroom. I don't care. She's seen it. She said, I didn't like this movie. I said, is it the subject matter? She's like, well, maybe a little, but she said, I felt like it got unrealistic at the end. Like just the violence, whatever. It's like, yeah, but that's just Tarantino. It's just I mean, Hateful Eight was unrealistic and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I loved Hateful Eight until the end.
Really? Yeah. I just liked the whole movie all the way through.
I loved it
Walton
until
Goggins
the last little bit.
was
I still like it better than fucking Jackie Brown. That's his worst fucking movie.
Jackie Brown may be his worst movie. Yeah. But I was as I was watching it last night, and I was thinking about what you see when they go to Greenville, the slave auction town, and I think there's no way you could capture on film how truly horrible that situation was. And I was thinking, because it was her saying maybe a little bit of the subject matter, but it made me think, like, what is it? What do I feel when I watch this movie? It was very introspective, and I don't typically do that.
Yeah, no, you're a very shallow motherfucker.
Pretty much. Yes. But no, and I thought, how did anyone ever think that was acceptable or okay? Is what I think.
Biblical.
But even outside of that, I don't get it.
But it's Old Testament justified.
I mean, I guess so, but
and there's a superiority of feeling like that you're conquering heathens and they're subhuman, which from our modern perspective, it makes no sense. But if they're going strictly like very puritanical, very old school, very used to dominating and conquering, because the thought of not conquering another nation is a relatively new concept.
Sure.
Because, at one point in time, when you conquered a nation, they became your slaves. Their women became your women. It was a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And the slave trade was kind of birthed out of a lot of that concept. And a lot of Christians justified it because the Bible talks extensively in the Old Testament about owning slaves. And every 50 years you have Jubilee, you set all the slaves free, but then God damn it, you can get more.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's anyway.
I don't know. That's it. I've had the thought in a minute, but I'll let you ramble whenever you're talking about. No, that's fine. No, I apologize. It's a good pod.
It's good pod. Good pod. It's good casting. It's good casting, bro.
Before we take a break, I wanted to shout out so Andre, who's been chiming in with us tonight, and we had Andre and Easy on 4 or 5 weeks ago, Juxtaposition Debate. And we're going to be on with them and another guy. I'm blanking on his name. I want to say Justin, but I think it's Josh.
He's a Kiwi, right?
Josh.
I'm calling him a Kiwi at least once during the episode.
Yeah. So
I know he's an Aussie,
but we're doing a show with them. It's going to be early for all you guys in the States.
I'm fucking excited about it.
We'll be doing it about 7 a.m. Eastern time. So, but anyway,
has a 3-continent podcast ever been done to the best of your knowledge?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of podcasts.
3-continent, or it'll actually be a 4-country.
Before, so I got it to this: 5 guys, 4 countries, 3 continents.
Yeah,
and I had something else for 2,
and so much cum.
Yeah, yeah. It's so going to be 5 of us in 4 countries on 3 different continents.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's cool. Like I'm not saying it hasn't been done. I haven't heard of it.
Sure.
Like we should get some Guinness recognition for this bullshit.
We should. Yeah.
Andre should tell the Queen. Because obviously,
you should. Yeah. Could you get us could the Queen be could you get the Queen as a guest for us?
Yeah. You guys all know each other, right? There's like 20 people in the UK. I want to get knighted.
Bruv.
Hey, bruv. Hey, I wonder if Andre could knight us. Does he have that kind of authority?
Oh, he could knight you, but it ain't what you're thinking.
Knight me right in the mouth.
So anyway, you should check Andre and Easy and their producer that chimes in, Roxanne, on the Juxtaposition Debate. It's Sundays. I'm trying to do the math on it. I think it's 2 to 4 or maybe it's 3 to 5 Eastern time here. But
see, I have to admit, I'm really shitty. Like we bitch about people not like having us on a program. It's like I don't listen to anything outside of I don't even listen to this podcast after we're
if
done.
I'm doing anything that I can pop some headphones in, whether it's grocery shopping, cutting the grass, whatever, I listen to them.
Driving, I've gotten where I listen to Time Suck, but outside of that, I listen to music all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So I'm really shit. Like I really need to tune into their show.
So
yep.
Christianity used to help enslave a people. That's why blacks in UK struggle with this religion. Wow.
Absolutely. And well, the thing is too, Andre, a big part of that, well, because it all comes down to, so you had, of course, Orthodox Jews, and then Christianity came and was supposed to be, wasn't even called Christianity. It was Judaism 2.0. And that evolved into the Catholic Church, which evolved into Crusades and had a big hand in slavery and shit. And then even after the Reformation, when everything split off there, and it was enough to be like, well, we don't like how Catholics do shit and the state religion, all that stuff. But it was because that's where people came out of, so heavily influenced by Catholicism. Like even the concept of having one pastor over a church that's over whatever, it's a very Catholic structure. Like it's Catholic. Basically, Protestantism is Catholicism light, with a few things moved around. But no, 100%, Andre, 100 fucking %.
So just to shout them out, you can go to lnsoulradio.com. So that's lnsoul, SOUL, soulradio.com. And then I think there's even an app I ended up downloading for it or whatever, but you can listen to them. So they do it.
What I was saying with
Sundays.
that, by the way, is I really need to take the time to listen to an episode and call in and shit. Like
it's great listening to them. I'm
super shitty about it.
Well, and then Roxanne, as their producer, chiming in, because she chimes in with the like listeners,
right?
Brings in the phone calls, or like I comment back to them through the WhatsApp, through our our podcast WhatsApp to them, and things like that. But
I meant to talk about. I told you I had something I wanted to bring up when they were on here, and on one of the episodes that I tuned in for a little bit, I listened on Spotify. Is they were talking about on Amazon, they had somebody that I guess they had banned them or something like that. It was a virginity kit basically that women could put up in them, and like they would basically, whoever was banging them, that they were a virgin, or like it would mimic breaking the old.
I thought Kenneth Copeland was selling those.
He might have been, but it was on Amazon and shit had gotten banned, and I laughed my ass off. And the first thing I thought about was like, if it was worth the same way if you were a gay dude for your butthole virginity.
You're
like the first time. Yeah, if you're behind. Yeah. Fucking you could be getting reamed for years. That butthole could be stretched out the size of a fist. And they're gonna jam that dick in. You've got one of those fucking virginity pills. Blood's gonna come out and they're gonna be like, oh man, I didn't know, like your butthole's really loose. Be like, yeah, man, I just must have a naturally loose butthole. Like, I don't know, but I'm totally an ass virgin.
All right.
I think it's a good time for a break.
Yeah, we'll be back in roughly 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Now that's a strong verse. Okay. Now listen, young ones, teenagers. This says that if you wear a man's, like women, if you wear a man's garment, you are an abomination unto the Lord. It doesn't say that is an abomination. It says all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. So this is why it's real.
Holy shit.
This isn't just some issue where you should just be like, well, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. When it says that something's an abomination, you should probably take that pretty seriously. Okay.
Fucking every time. Like, I find this shit crazy entertaining because the ridiculousness of it. But it also, like, I'm getting to where, especially recently, I'm almost getting to be anti-church. Like, I'm getting to where the point of, it's, you can do, I get like Christianity, whatever. But I'm getting to the point with churches like that. I'm like, no, fuck them. They shouldn't even be a thing. Like, it's, it's infuriating to me, like that type of shit. It really is, because, and this is like, I delved into it a little bit with my sister, was like, the danger is not believing what you want to believe. It's when you're teaching kids at a young age, like shit that's flagrantly wrong or harmful even in the long run. Yeah. And then they grow up to be more stupid people. And that's one of the things I was listening to. This guy was talking about the other day, and he was like, the issue with this shit is not believing what you want to believe. Is after you're an adult, you make your own goddamn decisions. But the stupidity that we're instilling into young people is just fucking producing more stupid people, as opposed to encouraging critical thinking and thorough thought about things and figuring things out for yourself. Seeking out the truth, not believing everything that's fucking told to you. Like, this shit is completely counterproductive to like a critical thinking, intelligent society.
Sure.
All of it is.
It's good to be under the spout where the glory comes out.
That's what I say about your fucking penis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest issues with the church is that there's so much fear-based stuff.
Well,
now,
not just fear, but just
well, that's how you get kids. You make them scared of hell and demons.
But it's so harmful, and I see that more and more the older I get. And again, as an adult, if the way that you make sense of the world around you, and you've come to the conclusion of whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, whatever the religion is that you subscribe to, if you're making the decision as an adult, I think it's great. I'll support that as long as you don't start fucking shoving your religious dick down my throat. But I don't know, when you start telling kids like to that level of just bullshit, you're just creating people that are going to take a lot longer in life to figure shit out for themselves if they ever fucking do. I mean, we both drank that Kool-Aid. I've fucking
absolutely sure
lived in it, and I get it.
There's still remnants of it in my life.
Yeah. And I get that for sure, and I understand that there's a need to instill your kids with morality, to instill your kids with right and wrong and the things in the path they need to be on. And I get that these people believe this stuff wholeheartedly, which blows my fucking mind. But to not be able to see that, I don't know, man. Again, I've been in that boat. I've drank the Kool-Aid, so I can't say a lot. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating to see. Like, I get upset sometimes. Like, fucking, I was in that. Like, I probably I bought into it. B, I probably fed it to other fucking people at some point in time. And I'm like, man, like, I don't have, we've talked about this to a degree. Like, I don't have regrets in life. Like, I've done what I've done. I've made the decisions I've made. Anything that's come out of that or the consequences, I'm willing to live with. But the only thing that I could say that I regret is the potential damage I've caused at one point in time when I was really heavy into this shit.
Yeah.
And that's only because, like, I know the damage it caused to me.
Sure.
And the thought that I might have done that to somebody else. And granted, I've come out of it okay. I mean, relatively speaking. But I mean, I'm a functional adult is my point. And I feel like I have a pretty healthy view on the world. It's a lot bleaker than a lot of people's. But I don't know, man. Like, it bothers me so much. I think it's because when I had that realization of all the bullshit that I'd been force fed and bought into, like, I hate to see other people getting fucking force fed that shit too. Like, I want to have an intervention. And so I get why a lot of atheists and people are super fucking anti-church and speak out against that shit. Like, I get it. I don't always agree with the methods, but I understand like the need to step into some of that shit. But at the end of the day, it's their decision. You know what I mean? Like, if I believe as a parent, like, I don't equate it with child abuse. Like, people will, like, well, forcing kids to learn about religion is child abuse. Like, no, it's fucking not.
Right.
Like, burning kids with cigarettes, in the words of my grandmother, are fucking child abuse.
Right.
You know, forcing religious doctrine might not be great for them in the long run, but you're not abusing them. Like, they might come now, different for cults and sexual abuse and all that shit. But I don't know, man. I just I hate it. I hate it all so fucking much. And I'll go ahead.
No, there's something and I lost it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have an issue with spirituality at all. I don't have a people with adults that are Christians that, again, it helps them make sense of the world around them, because there are some genuine Christians out there that really believe, but they treat people kindly and they don't force their shit on other people. Like, and my thought's always been, if you're truly a Christian, you're gonna love people, you're gonna do shit, and then if people want to know about it, they'll fucking ask you. Yeah. Like, you live out what you believe through your actions and not the shit you're fucking barking at people.
Sure.
And
I heard Ricky Gervais say this one time. You said that about atheists, and he's one of the most prominent atheists out there, really. But you never really hear him shove atheism down people's throats. He will debate somebody or whatever. Yeah. But he's what he said one time. He's like, we're pretty like he's talking to or about a Christian that he talked to. He's like, we're pretty close to the same,
right?
It's like, you don't believe in. It's like, do you believe in Buddha, Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, or Allah, or the plethora of Hindu gods or whatever? Right. I mean, you believe in it? No, I don't. It's like, yeah, me either. I just also don't believe in your God either. So you don't believe in all gods except one, and I just don't believe in all gods. So we're pretty damn close. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I was joking about as far as the preachers or whatever claiming like the Bible is the only source of knowledge, only source of truth, and it's the unlocks the understanding of the entire world.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big fucking statement.
Sure.
And that's the equivalent to me of going to a Chinese restaurant and saying that helps you fully grasp all of Chinese culture.
Sure.
You're like, oh, I understand Chinese culture and the Chinese people because I've read this fucking
menu,
right? And I've had some goddamn fortune cookies. So
right.
like, I get it. Like, I get you Chinese people. Like, I understand your struggles. You know, I understand, you know, how you view the world. And that's the equivalent. Like, so they're saying, you know, they understand all of human history and why people are the way they are because of one fucking book. Like, that makes no fucking sense if you break it down. Anyway, and the last time I was talking to somebody about this, and I'm going to throw this out on my sister too, because there's no fucking answer, is, and it's different in different denominations or what the fuck ever, but I know you've heard the term the age of accountability. And if you're listening and you don't know what that is, the age of accountability is the age of where your decisions and the sin in your life starts being counted against you. In other words, they believe if you're a baby or 1 year old and you die tragically,
wear pants if you're a girl baby.
Right. Yeah, but if you're, oh dude, I heard a sermon one time on the dangers of letting your daughter sleep in onesie sleepers too long.
I have a clip of that.
Yeah. So anyway, but you know, so up until a certain age, if you die, you automatically go to heaven because you don't know what you're doing, so you're not accountable for your sins. You know, which makes a little bit of sense to me. But I asked him, I was like, so what's the age of accountability? And you know, they were like, I think they said like 15 or something random like that. I said, okay, 13, 15, what the fuck ever. A lot of say teenagers, but you know, whatever. So I'll say, let's take 15. So you take a girl that maybe, let's say she's 15 and a half, let's say she's 16. Say she's 16. She grew up in rural India, right? Never heard the gospel preached once, never had an opportunity, never had a missionary, never had anything, never heard shit. And she gets fucking raped to death in her village, which happens fairly commonly in India. Fucking raped to death. She's going to hell. And it's really hard for most people to be like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And if they do, I'm like, why? Because they didn't believe in Jesus at the time that she was getting raped to death and she never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
How much sense does that make? And also, if that's the God you believe in, fuck your God. Like, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, I know people that believe yes, they would go, but I also know people that are like, you know, that's an area that I don't have an answer for. I don't know.
And I'm good with that.
Yeah, because there was never an opportunity. You know, if you had the opportunity and you denied it, then that's a different story. But you know, without the opportunity, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And so, but I get that. But I'm just, but for people that'll be like, oh yeah, they're going to hell. I'm like, how? You know, like, I don't understand conceptually. Like, in that case, infants might, like, babies that are fucking like stillborn, they might as well be burning in hell too, because it's the same goddamn thing.
Same concept.
Yeah.
Same principle. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you, if you were going to argue pro free will from a church perspective, that where they, you know, because everybody believes we have free will, God's giving you free will, but God also
knows. For Calvin, once saved, always saved.
Sure.
Yeah, predestination.
Sure, but I'm just talking about free will to choose whether you're going to sin or not. And because that's been one of my big things for years and years and years now, is like, I don't completely buy into the free will thing because it contradicts itself.
Yeah.
And I've never had anyone be able to give me an answer. I've had a person that I do respect in the church say, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about it.
Right.
I know what I've read, but I don't know how to explain anything to you. I don't know. And I've had a lot of people, the general answer you get is, there's just some things you're not supposed to understand.
Right.
Which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
But whatever. If you were going to argue from their side of, yes, you have free will, and yes, God does know everything, how would you make that argument?
Okay. So how I have heard it said before that makes the most sense to me.
Okay.
And that's the fact of there are every fucking minutia, however the fuck you say it, like there's a billion possibilities in your life, right? That God knows the outcome of every single one of those. But his free will that he gives you is the choice that he doesn't know what you're going to decide.
Well, see, most of the people that I ever talk to is like, he knows what you're going to do before you do it.
But I thought this is the best description, like, because it's kind of like if you had psychic abilities.
Sure.
I can read your mind, but I'm choosing not to read your mind.
Sure.
So the concept of free will here is that God already knows the outcome of any and all decisions because he's omnipotent, but he chooses not to read your fucking mind because he wants you to make those choices along the way. And so he can intervene along the way to try to guide you back onto the ultimate path that's going to lead you to salvation. But your free will lies in he knows the end point of all of these, but he makes the decision to let you choose them and not interfere unless he sees you on the wrong path and puts you or nudges you back there. And you can still choose to ignore it. So it's not that he can't know, he chooses not to know.
And that's where I fall on the free will thing.
Right.
And I've made that statement to people before. It's like, all right, so what if he doesn't know what you're going to do, but he knows the outcome of everything you do? Every option you have, he knows what the outcome of each option is, but he doesn't know which option you're going to take.
Right.
And they can't wrap their head around or refuse to wrap their head around God not knowing everything.
And see, I look at it as a choice.
Yeah,
just like if you know you have a kid that you know is doing some shit, you might choose to ignore it because they'll get back on their own path eventually. I'm not gonna I can see the consequences of what they're doing is wrong, and I know probably what they're thinking, but I'm not gonna delve into it. I've always looked at free will. That's how I've made sense of it in my mind. That like, if he wanted to fucking dig into your fucking brain and know, then he could. But it's one of those things like, I'm gonna let them make their own decisions in this. I know how they're gonna end up, but I'm gonna let them do it. That's how I've like, and that's how I would argue it, I guess. You know, because that doesn't take away from God's omnipotence. It doesn't take away from any part of the Christian character of God. You know, for New Testament, you know, whatever. You can still punish.
One of the big things that a lot of people don't like about Christianity is how you can do the most horrible things ever, and on your deathbed ask for forgiveness and salvation, and you get into heaven just like somebody that lived an entire or close to perfect life.
Yeah.
Which does, you know,
I don't have as much of an issue
about
that.
I don't have an issue, but I get why someone would have an issue with it.
And I get, because a lot of it's, because my always concept is it's kind of like, if you fucked me over your entire fucking life and somebody else has been good to me, right? Whatever. But then you come to me before you leave this world or die and you sincerely apologize, I don't look less of you than the dude that's been good to me my whole life because it was sincere. Like it wasn't man, I'm my bad. Like if it was sincere,
I get it.
and you acknowledge, hey, I have fucked you over for years and I regret doing it and I'm truly sorry, blah blah. I'd be like, all right, like that doesn't mean we're going to be besties, you know. And but
do you trust them moving forward?
That's a choice of that decision. But what I'm saying is, like, say they died, they may not know they're dying. Say they come to me and they make that true apology, and then they fucking die. Like at that point, they're still gonna be my favorite person, but I'm not gonna be like, fuck that son of a bitch. I'll be like, okay, he apologized and he meant it, so you know, whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But that's also where the concept, if you look into Christianity, of having your mansions in heaven, that guy might have repented. He might go into heaven, but he don't have them fucking jewels and mansions that you got when you get there.
Right.
You know, so you know, it's a tiered system. Which is fucking stupid in and of itself.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Pyramid scheme, yeah. It's the ultimate pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I don't yeah. It's
it's equally as fascinating to me as it is infuriating, and which makes it hard because a lot of times I want to listen to shit and like kind of dig into it, but at the same time I can't fucking stomach it. So it's this weird dichotomy.
Well, something interesting could be being said or talked about, and you'd be like, "Oh, this is interesting. I like this. I haven't heard anybody say this or whatever." But then you get that little nugget of the shit that just gets under your skin. That's like, all right, I can't listen to this person.
You know,
anymore.
and it's weird. I'm by no means a scholar, right? Like I know people that could argue the Bible down to the Hebrew that well beyond what I can understand.
But you are way more in depth and have way more knowledge on it than most of your laymen.
For sure
in the U.S.
And I would agree. But point being is, but to me, that level, it's kind of like you could be an expert, top of your class, fucking archaeologist, right? I don't fucking care. Like, because you might have more in-depth knowledge in specific areas, but as a whole, I can still make a discussion if understand the name. We can still talk about the names of dinosaurs, and I could name the same types of dinosaurs, and I could be like, yeah, fucking, you know, this doesn't come from whatever. We can have that discussion without me knowing the in-depth shit. And a lot of these guys, they're pastors, they have doctorates, they've studied the scripture well beyond whatever I can, and they can read it in Latin and Hebrew and all the other shit. That doesn't mean I can't smell bullshit when they're spitting it out of their mouth. Like just because you know something doesn't mean your interpretation of something is wrong. And I like to think that I'm willing to be wrong. Like if somebody can spit me something in a way I haven't heard or thought about it, and give me new information, I'm happy to think about it. I've had my mind changed multiple times over shit because I'm okay with saying I was wrong. I mean, I can tell you shit that, and same for you, that when I was fucking preaching, I preached from the pulpit that I look back and I'm like, fuck, I was wrong as shit.
Yeah.
And if I had a chance to talk to some of those people, I would fucking tell them I was fucking wrong. Like, I don't have a problem admitting it. And I think that's the issue you get in a lot of these guys. You get into this bubble and it's self-realizing. Like when you live in a Christian bubble, Christianity makes sense. That's all you fucking have to worry about. There's nothing, like, everybody outside that doesn't believe you is fucking lost. They're wrong. They're evil. So there's a justification and a way to write off anybody that doesn't agree with you. But if most of these people would take a step back and really think about it without throwing it automatically, well, God's ways are higher than our ways, or well, it's not for us to understand. Like, if you throw that fucking concept out the window and you take a legitimate look at what you're doing, it doesn't make sense. And the only way to justify it are those fucking bullshit answers.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm ranting so hard. Jesus
no, it's
Christ.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I had something I wanted, speaking of the church.
We got another one, Mommy. Thanks for the shout out. This one.
Yeah.
I like the loophole where I can get all that I want and then give a sincere apology.
So, but Andre, hold a minute. Andre, are you Catholic? If so, you guys really have it made, because you just go and say, bless me, Father, for I've sinned.
Pay a few bucks.
Yeah, take it up the ass.
But one of the ultimate sins for them is fucking masturbation. You fucking jizz on shit. You're wasting your seed.
And safe sex, yeah.
Dude, and I can tell you right now, dude, I've dumped more fucking children in the toilet than the goddamn Holocaust.
Sure.
Just,
I know a girl that would give Planned Parenthood a run for their money. She was she's married to a friend of ours, actually.
Oh, she killed so many babies.
Yeah, indirectly. So anyway, I stumbled across this the other day. I say stumbled across it. Facebook recommended it to me, which is
getting all up in that algorithms.
Yeah, was strange.
But you also have, for some of this stuff, a variety of friend types on Facebook. So
I also go through once or twice a year and purge my friends list, because there's just people that I'm just like, I hadn't talked to you since high school. Why?
Right.
Why do you need to know what I'm eating for dinner tonight? And why do I need to know how your kids look for Easter?
Yeah.
So anyway, but this is the Knights Templar Church.
Oh,
have you heard of the Knights Templar Church?
No, I know the Knights Templar.
Yeah,
and I know church.
I've never heard of. So there's their symbol, Knights Templar Church.
Ooh, that's some culty looking shit.
It is culty looking, and when I first saw it, I thought there's going to be some neo-Nazi shit in here at some point. What did he say? Yep, I grew up Catholic and know all about confessions and all that shit. Were you an altar boy?
Me and Andre should make out.
Yeah,
that's what I'm convinced of.
Yeah, you got to go to England,
right?
Yeah,
a little bit of international interracial love. I'm down.
Right. So anyway, the Knights Templar Church, the banner on their website says God plus family plus freedom plus nation.
Ooh, that's a fascism.
It could Nationalism. Could be. Welcome to the official website of the Knights Templar Church. This church worships Jesus Christ, and we all believe in the Holy Trinity. Please take the time to look at our doctrinal statement before you sign up to support us. We are looking to recruit active members who can organize and articulate the mission of our church. You can also be a patron of our church with Templar honors. They spelled it O-U-R-S. Honors, if that is what you wish. We are seeking to locate to a grand priory that will be our mother church.
Grand Prairie. I know Priory. Go ahead.
Yeah. Grand Priory that will be our mother church. You can be named as a Knights Templar patron if you decide to join us. Our mission is clear: to defeat poverty.
Okay.
Interesting. And spiritual darkness in our communities and nations. You are invited to become a part of Templar history. Please be aware before you join us that we are a biblical church of Templars. We do not associate our Christian faith with pagan practices, spiritualists, energy workers, secretive organizations, cults, socialists, or sodomites. We are at war with the devil and all his works.
Okay. Interesting. I'm intrigued right now.
So I don't know if this is their doctrine or not, but here we go. This is Brother Robert Wells, B.A.
Have you read this prior to this?
Some of it, yes.
Okay.
Our church is committed to fighting the devil and all his works. We are active Christians who are prepared to defend our faith, families, and nations. The mission of the Knights Templar
I'm just
Church.
waiting on to throw in from the Jews. That's what I'm waiting on. In this instance.
The mission of the Knights Templar Church has two main battlefronts: poverty and spiritual darkness. Our church is to be a spiritual stronghold for Bible-believing Christians when all around us we can see that other churches have become dens of iniquity. We are good Samaritans in
yes.
We are good Samaritans in spirit and are devoted servants of our Father in heaven and of his holy beloved Son, Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah. Christ is King, not man.
Okay.
So,
all pretty standard shit there.
Yeah.
A few alarming fucking keywords, but nothing,
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're pretty anti-Semitic. That's going to be my first
guess.
You think
so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. Just go to their news page. You go to the news page. The website is www.band.video. BANNED, band.
Oh, band. Okay.
First video up at the top of here. Creepy Joe Biden runs the largest child smuggling. It doesn't finish. Full interview. World-renowned doctor blows lid off of COVID.
See, whenever I hear of child smuggling, I think of people like with children in suitcases, like sneaking through fucking TSA, hiding kids in their butt in little condoms, random shit like that.
The George Floyd Memorial Body Count.
Oh my God.
Biden's America is the cartel's war zone. New film, Deep Rig, proves the 2020 election was stolen. Now we're getting into it. Yeah.
Would you run a cartel? If like somebody was like, hey, we have this huge Mexican cartel, would you run this for us?
No, not a Mexican one, though. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be,
I would kill so many people. Have so many people killed.
I need 401k with matching.
Right.
And I need a path laid out for retirement. I don't need dying to get in, dying to get out.
I'll need to see their 10-year plan.
Yeah. That's it. I need to know that that there's some stability.
Like I feel like for all of the monstrosities he committed, like I feel like Pablo Escobar would have been a great friend to have.
Oh, for sure. He had the best parties.
Yeah, I would have done so much cocaine with him.
But that he was so egotistical that if we were friends, if Escobar was still alive, and maybe he is, and we were friends with him, for a fact he would come and be a guest on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Because he was so egotistical that he's like, I'm untouchable.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That would be the greatest thing.
Yeah. And you couldn't, but I would straight be able to do coke with him off this table.
If Pablo Escobar is my friend, I'm doing coke with him because he could probably get me.
That's fair.
He could probably give me a better job. Probably.
That's
honestly.
Fair. Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway,
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to dig around their website here to see. Let's go to the give/join page. It's a Patreon account. A standard membership is $7.50 per month. You get
for the Patreon.
Yeah, for the Knights Templar Church Patreon.
Right.
You get an official membership certificate, and that's it. The VIP membership is $14.50 a month. You get the same certificate plus free access to all Knights Templar Church events.
Ooh,
that sounds really good.
$15.
It sounds really good.
Because I always like I did with Hunters OnlyFans, and just join it for like a month or two to get the benefits, and then fucking quit.
I think it would be really nice to go do an undercover thing at the Knights Templar event.
That'd be funny.
Some cameras and audio and stuff like that just to see.
Yeah.
But we can also end up dead.
Have you ever read much?
Or sacrifice.
I've thought of it just because out of curiosity, because you get all kinds of books. And like my grandfather was a Mason, right? And he would talk about it a little bit. And there's other Masonic orders. And in Christianity, that's a big thing. They preach against the Masons and shit all the time. But I've thought about like how cool would it be to join so I can see. And I graded at the lower levels. You're not seeing half the shit that's going on. But I'd be like, I want to
show up to me and be like, we're gonna sacrifice some bitches.
Right? Well, like I part of me is like, I want to join the Masons and I want to stay in it for like a few years to kind of get a real handle on what the fuck is going on.
You become the highest Freemason in the country.
And then be like, fuck you bitches. But it's so much work to go through the ranks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, of the Masonic Lodge. It's like you have to memorize shit and there's like a certain amount of time.
Off.
Yeah,
probably.
Gotta fucking cut some babies.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see here. The time is up for doing nothing. International socialism and the satanic global elite are taking over our countries. Oh, shit. We must rally to Christ and his teachings in order to save all we hold dear.
Okay, the irony of that. I'm going to go ahead
and
interject.
You go ahead and say what you're going to say, but then I'm going to give you the 4 pillars of their ethos.
Oh, shit. The irony of that is the teachings of Jesus are more socialist than any Christian will fucking admit. There's nothing capitalistic about Jesus's teachings. And he wasn't a political guy. He completely stayed out of all politics. Like, he didn't talk politics. He avoided political questions. Like, Jesus was not a political dude. And that's part of the reason why they crucified him, because they were trying to accuse him of creating a political insurrection. But I hate when people are like, well, Jesus was a socialist. Like, no, he wasn't. He wasn't a fucking, capitalist either. But his teachings of giving up what you have, giving to each other, and taking care of others are far more socialist than anything in the Christian church.
Well, I mean, what he point blank said, what is it? The easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than the rich man to get into heaven. Yeah.
Right. And then we're like the young rich man said, well, sell everything you own and come with me. And he was like, no. And Jesus like, well, then fuck you. Yeah. But in those conceptions are saying, like, if you value,
but he didn't tell him to sell everything he owns and give it away. He just said sell it.
Right.
Bring the money with him.
Right. I've heard that. I've actually fucking heard that be preached. But point being is, like, the teachings of Jesus are far more socialistic, and the Americans like, no, God blesses capitalism. Like, that's not how the fucking Bible teaches it, motherfucker.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's capitalistic for the priests. You take a golden sacrifice and shit, and you give it to the church. But
I mean, but I've heard people say, well, the you can boil Christianity, true Christianity, down to 2 things: love God, love people.
Yeah.
But I can get them over that. I can get them over that. But then people then start to put their little spin on that, where it's like, yeah, well, if you're giving people things, is that really loving them, or is it, or if you're, teach them how to do so, the whole teach a man to fish.
Right. Thing. But that's where the whole fucking quote unquote discernment comes in. You know what I mean? Like, you give people the methods, and if what they need in that moment is fucking money, then that's what they fucking need. You can help them get on their feet and give them a career and teach them shit, what the fuck ever else. But there comes a point where people just need to be given something to get a fucking fresh start.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that. Like, the whole point to me of giving to the church is so the church can take care of people, not their congregation, for fucking people. Like these, like a lot of the mega churches, like the Joel Osteens or whatever, if they were taking their money and using 90% of it, they could change their fucking cities. Like,
well, not just that. I mean, even as simple as when the what was it, the flood or whatever that hit there or something, hurricane or something, I don't fucking know what it is. And he wouldn't open it up to let people stay in there who are in need. I mean,
well, I joke, they built this huge church in Huntsville down the road from where we live. This huge, I think it was, I don't know what kind of church. It was Baptist or Methodist, something. Huge church, leather seats, like in the lobbies, like basically almost like a hotel lobby, like super nice. And like, they wouldn't let homeless people in. I'm like, you have these fucking nice couches, the weather's shit, and you won't let somebody in because they smell it might ruin your fucking leather couches.
Yeah.
It's fucking, that's one thing and we've talked about this before, that how much I respect fucking David Clayton. Like, theologically, we don't agree on shit anymore.
Right.
But like, legitimately, their church, as far as most American churches go that I've seen, are doing shit the way I think shit should be done.
That's what I tell people all the time. Like, they're doing it as close to the way it should be done, as far as I can tell.
As far as like the way they treat and do things for people. Like, I don't like doctrinally, that's all aside from that. But like, I remember I went to one time to see him. I was in town. I went to their church, and the whole thing was open. Like, homeless people were off the street. They were feeding them. They giving them blankets. They're giving them toiletry package. And it wasn't like you can only stay for 10 minutes. Like, they were full and hanging out the whole service. Weren't coming to the service. They were just hanging out to have food, to have whatever.
Yeah.
And they didn't fucking care. I'm like, good. Fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, you're not expecting these people to do shit to just fucking care for them a little bit. And they had people that showed up.
Well, I mean, that also
and it smelled like fucking rotten assholes in there.
Sure.
But I was like, still.
That also falls back under the whole, preach the gospel daily and when necessary use words. That's the thing. But people forget that whole when necessary part of it.
Well, one of the things I was super proud of, and this is stupid, it's a small thing, and this is my little ego stroke for myself right now. But before David, they went out and officially founded Ethos. Like, they would start as their Bible study, and it was growing. And he asked my opinion on some shit. And one of the things he asked me, I was like, you shouldn't pass an offering plate. Like, put some donation shits in the back door, throw it out there. Hey, these are back here. If you feel like tithing or donating to the church, that's where you do it. And then fucking leave it at that. Don't do a fucking pass the plate bullshit. And he did it. Like, that's how they do. They don't ask for an offering. They just tell people where it is. And if you want to give. And I respect that so fucking much because it prioritizes the people over money.
It does. And but it also,
and that's truly trust in the Lord to provide.
Yeah. I mean, it is, but it also then you're not putting any potential guilt on anybody.
Right.
You know,
and even outside of guilt, to me, just by that action, because all you're doing is informing people that if you want to, it's there. But you're taking the focus off of like a set time that you're taking money from people to fund what you're doing to we're here to do things for you. If you feel like giving to it, awesome. Do it on your way out.
Yeah.
What the fuck ever. But it's completely separating the money from the church, like completely separating it.
Sure.
Like what we're here to do
I
is
agree.
whatever. And this is here as an option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, like, hey, you want this combo? You get a free Coke with it. If you don't want the combo, that's fine. It's that type of deal. It's like, oh, I'll take the Coke. You know, it's that type of shit.
Sure.
But anyway,
yeah, I mean, it's
like truly doing something for somebody without expectation of shit in return. And that's the thing with the church. When you really break it down, is what taking an offering is. It's like, well, we're providing you the spiritual service, so you need to fucking pay for that service. And I've heard that preached essentially.
Sure.
You know, that fuck. Anyway, that's a whole nother fucking rant.
No, yeah, I agree.
I want to have David on here at some point. I would be willing to try not to cuss for an entire episode if he would come on.
I don't know that he would.
He wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But just because I respect him enough that, and it would still slip, I'd still cuss. Like that's fine. But I'm just saying I would make a conscious effort to modify the language to have him on. And he said he'd come on at some point. He's busy as fuck, but
he's very busy. Yes.
Yeah.
God, there's something else I was fixing to say. I don't remember what it was now. I'm really forgetting a lot of things tonight.
You're the me in this relationship this evening.
Tonight I am.
Yeah. But I will say, I'm going to go ahead and fucking jack our own dicks too. This has gone much better and one of our better episodes that we've had solo in a while. Yeah.
So the 4 pillars of the ethos of the Knights Templar Church is God, family, freedom, nation. Let's see here. Don't need the steps. Recent posts. Recent posts by the Knights Templar Church. I would just like to say thank you for your support. You can now join our Knights Templar Order as a knight or dame or dom or whatever. The links are on our website. All right. So I know what I'm going to do now. The last.
Are we going to get to the pillars?
That was the pillars: God, family, faith, whatever. It's just 4 words. Whatever I said.
I thought it was going to be like a little.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The Knights Templar Church Facebook page.
Oh shit!
See if it. Oh, this group is private.
Is it private?
Oh
man.
2.6 thousand members.
Oh shit!
It's went up 60 in the last week. 18 new posts today. 528
18 posts today.
528 in the last month, and
Jesus.
I can't see any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, they are in Birmingham. That's
Alabama.
No, England. Yes, Birmingham, Alabama.
I know if there's a Birmingham, fucking Tennessee around here somewhere. I don't fucking know.
Birmingham, Alabama. Let's just see. Let's double check. Make sure. I mean, it looks like it. So, yeah. No, it is the UK.
Oh,
that's right.
Andre,
Birmingham, UK.
Do some undercover work for us, dude.
Yes, please. Join the Knights Templar Church.
Report back. Let us know how it is.
Yeah. Part of me wants to click join group on this Facebook group just to do it.
You know what we should do outside of that? This just made me think of this. We should do a GoFundMe to fly Andre and Easy here to do an in-person episode.
We also then have to ask if either of them would fly here.
They would. If they had a free flight.
You're assuming a lot.
Oh, I'm assuming a lot, but I'm just saying, if our hearts are connected, how I think our hearts are connected, if they got hooked up with a decent place to stay, some good fucking food, and some Southern bullshit, they could make fun of, and a free flight here, there is no place in this world I would not fly to if it was fucking free.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't care how much I hated the person.
Yeah.
There is this fucking Arab dude, or I say Arab, he's from Jordan, in Alabama when I was working at the Starbucks there. He came in all the time. And this dude was one of the biggest misogynist Jew-hating guys I've ever met. Really? And he was like, you should come and visit my family and come to Jordan. Like, we'll feed you, I'll show you around. And I was like, okay, fuck yeah, I'll come. But I don't give a shit how much he fucking hates other people. Like, he didn't hate me, and I can get some cool shit out of it. Obviously, that didn't work out. But, because I would have had to pay for my own ticket. Everything else would have been free. I'm like, I'm not paying $2,000 to fucking fly to Jordan.
So I got one more little story.
Oh, look, see, that would be fucking awesome.
That would be fucking awesome. Yeah. All right, so we got to get a GoFundMe going
Yeah.
to get Andre and Easy over here.
That would be, dude, honestly, that would be so much fucking fun.
They're not staying here. No,
That's fine.
That's
fine.
I'm just kidding.
I got bean bags.
Did I tell you
We
about?
throw them in a hotel.
So, when I count people that I've made friends with since we started podcasting, I count Andre and Easy in the group.
Sure.
Yeah, and Trevor called me about 2 weeks or so ago. GoFund group. Okay. Trevor called me a few weeks ago asking me about something. I can't remember what it was. She's asking me about something. And my wife's like, "Who is calling you?" After I got off, she's like, "Who is calling you?" I said, "You leave me alone. This is one of my black friends." She was like, "How many black friends do you have?"
More than you've ever had in your life.
She said, "How many black friends do you have?" And I said, "There's 2 in the UK." And she's like, "Wait a minute, how do you have black friends in the UK?"
Well, the thing is like, I'm your only friend really outside of that circle for the most part. You have
people that are
closer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. So anyway, I had one more story that I wanted to because this all kind of does play into the whole church discussion and everything. And this happened to me last night.
Oh,
yeah, and so,
did your wife rape you?
No, there's no such thing as marital rape,
right? According to a lot of Jesus.
I don't think it's according to Jesus Christ, but so
oh Jesus.
Anyway, this
help me, Lord.
So I just figured. So I just figured we could, depending on how this goes or whatever, we can end.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Whatever.
It's
right.
good at any point.
So, don't know if this was sleep paralysis or what, because I don't know that I've ever experienced sleep paralysis. I know my daughter does on occasion, and
which is moderately terrifying.
Yes,
if you've never experienced sleep paralysis.
Oldest does on occasion as well. Gabe does on occasion as well.
Demons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whatever. But it's interesting because there's a documentary used to be on Netflix called The Nightmare.
Yeah,
and it's interviewing people that deal with sleep paralysis regularly, but they have dramatic reenactments of the stories
and that's what turned me off of that. I tried to watch it and I was just like, ugh. But
well, it's not. I shouldn't say dramatic reenactments of what they're going through, but it's like
no, I got you.
And that's what intrigued me about it.
Right.
But anyway, it's interesting how many people tell the same story of what they see when they have.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, obviously, I've said it 100 times. I sleep on the couch, and the dog sleep in there.
Right.
Great Dane sleeps on the couch with me. So depending on how she's sleeping determines on how much room I've got. Anyway, so she's sleeping in an odd way, and I had like one leg on one side of her and one leg on the other side of her. She's at the end of the couch, and I'm laying back here. And I have this dream that there's a gold chain, like a necklace, coming out of the wall in the hallway. No hole in the wall.
Right.
It's and there's a big pile in the floor of this gold chain, like it's just slowly been just pouring out of the wall.
Right.
And obviously that's probably from somewhere in my subconscious, the necklaces that we found in the wall that we opened up.
We just talked about that.
We talked about that recently. Right. Yes. Last week. Yeah. So, so I can chalk that up to subconscious thoughts or whatever. But anyway, this chain is, and so where the wall is opposite side of the room, kind of down the hallway, just a touch, but you wouldn't be able to see it from where I was laying asleep. Right. But in my dream, I was like leaned up, like on my knees and leaning on the arm of the couch and looking at the necklace in the hall. And my dog that was sleeping on the couch with me in my dream was in the hall staring at that necklace. Right. Like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. And as I'm looking at that necklace and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Because there's no hole in the wall. Right.
It's coming out of the wall.
Yeah. So anyway, you know that feeling you get when like water gets in your ears, that quick, like, and then everything goes silent and with just a hum. In my dream, all of a sudden, a feeling moves up on me, like quickly from my right, from that direction, just like moves up on me, and that in my ears. And in my dream, and I may have done it in real life. Yeah. But in my dream, I'm let out like a like kind of a something like that.
Right.
And in my dream, I knew that ghost, spirit, demon, whatever.
Yeah.
That it was something. It wasn't just a feeling.
It was
there. It was on me.
Right.
Like, and at that point, I like jumped in my sleep. It woke me up, and I woke up already praying. So weird.
Wow.
As I jumped and woke up, words were coming out of my mouth already, and not speaking in tongues. Like, but words were coming out of my mouth already.
Well, I should probably tell you, I've been doing Ouija boards under the table the whole time.
No. So it was a very interesting thing, but when I woke up and those words were coming out of my mouth, I couldn't move.
Right.
Now, the way Nala was laying, and she's 120, 130 pound Great Dane, she was sort of laying on my leg, and so I could make arguments one way or the other. And when I was telling my wife and daughter, my daughter was like, "Sounds like sleep paralysis." I was like, "It could be." If so, it's the first time I can recall ever.
Right.
I mean, I guess I could think of other dreams I've had similar to that, where in the dream when it happened, it moved upon me, and I let out that yelp or whatever. In my dream, I tried to start praying in my dream, and I couldn't vocalize it in the dream. But as I woke up,
I can tell you your sleep paralysis started when you heard the. That's when.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was you waking up.
Interesting.
Yeah,
but
your brain might have registered it, but I'm just saying.
So the other interesting thing is, like, once I kind of had my composure and was completely awake, because it didn't take me long to be able to move my leg because I pulled it out from under the dog. I grabbed my phone and looked, and it was 3:08.
3 o'clock.
I know, it's an odd thing, and it's all very
weird.
Weird, yes.
I can tell you, I've had sleep paralysis a couple times, but the one time I remember it the most, and this is because it made me sound crazy as fuck, but it happened. And I was, it was when me and Jesse were married, and we were staying at
I remember this.
Staying at her mom's house, and that place, like, believe in ghosts or not, I don't give a fuck. It's haunted as shit.
Something's
like
there,
it'll scare the fuck out of you. I'm talking like weird fucking shit. Anyway, stayed in the back bedroom to sleep, and I woke the fuck up again, probably sleep paralysis. But I shit you not, it felt like a fucking hand over. Like if you've ever been held down by a big brother or fucking family, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. But it felt like like I was small, right? Like you had a kid, and it felt like somebody had their arms around my knees, lower legs, and a hand over my fucking mouth. Like I felt the fingers, I felt the thumb, the whole fucking nine, and I couldn't move because it had me held the fuck down. It could have been, but I mean, I remember fighting and kicking, and I couldn't make it. It was so strong, like, and I didn't feel like my whole body. I could move my hands, I could move my feet, but I couldn't get loose over what this was, and I couldn't I was, and I heard a fucking voice in my ear, like some scary ass fucking voice. And then it just let go. And I got up and I was mad as fuck. Like I know as it goes, like it was no praying. Because I woke Jesse up going, "Come on, motherfucker. You want to hit me while I'm a goddamn wake, you fucking piece of shit. Like you want to hit me while I'm sleeping? Fuck you." And like it freaked her out because I was like yelling. I flipped the light on, and I was like, "You want me to turn the fucking light back off? God damn it, I'll turn the fucking light back off." And like I was just mad.
Yeah, if you don't know what's going on, it'll freak you out.
But there was no prayer. There was no I was just like, I wanted to fight whatever the fuck it was. And just because I was like, it's a bitch move coming in while I'm fucking sleeping. And again, probably sleep paralysis, but I've never been more like, it was terrifying in the moment. And then as soon as that let up, like I was just fucking wanting to fight. And it freaked Jessie the fuck out at the time because she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I want to fight something." But I will say that that was it was probably 3 or 4 in the morning too. I didn't look at the time. I didn't sleep the rest of the night, and then we fucking stayed in the hotel the next night. I'm like, fuck this, not staying here, not dealing with this bullshit. But yeah, it was, but their house was fucking creepy. Like the kids, I mean, would be like, "Oh, the old man that lives here," like that type of shit. Like when they'd have no reason to lie about, like, "Oh yeah, the old man," and they had a running joke about like all the kids growing up always saw the fucking old man that lived there. Occasionally it would sound like fucking drums, like Civil War fucking drums coming out of there, or marching drums out of the basement. Like shit was fucking creepy, man. And not saying it was ghosts, not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying that shit was fucking scary. Yeah. And I think the scariest part of that shit is just not having control, having something that can physically control or hurt you that you can't see or fight back against. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had other shit, but that was like the most recent as an adult. Oh man. And part of me in my brain still was like, I wish a goddamn ghost would have shown up. I'd have fucking fought that bitch. I would have lost, but goddamn it, I'd have punched it in the ghost dick.
I've had other dreams or things like similar to what I had. I've never had that ear thing. And but I have had dreams where I turn and look at this last house we lived in before we moved here. There was a window from here to that wall,
right,
from my side of the bed. And in my dream, I turned, looked at the window, and I could just see the outline of a head.
Yeah.
And that was like waking up from that.
Yeah.
Was freaky. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it, but like the whole sleep paralysis thing, I'm still not completely. I'm not saying wasn't sleep paralysis that I had last night, but I could be convinced one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's just it's a interesting thing, because I've never heard anybody talk about having a dream that they're doing something else and then it happened. I've heard it be like where I'm laying there wide awake and then I have sleep paralysis.
Right.
And so I don't know.
No, but all that shit's crazy because the brain is so layered and so complicated. Like we don't even know what the fuck it's capable of.
Sure.
Because I mean, it's capable, like adrenaline chemicals are capable. I mean, there's fucking stories, like legitimate ones, of like moms lifting a goddamn car to save their kid. Like, it's crazy shit how your brain and chemicals work.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason I'm so fucked up, because my brain chemicals and synapses fire fucking differently than a lot of people's. But I don't know, man. It's shit's crazy to me. Like, so I get. And again, not discounting anything supernatural or spiritual, what the fuck ever, because there's no way to prove it.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that a lot of people have. It's like, well, you can't prove it. It's like, but you can't disprove it.
Yeah.
Like, you can prove what's around you, and then there you can say, well, therefore that probably doesn't exist. But there's shit that we see now that nobody thought existed or was magic or demons or whatever fucking 50 years ago.
Sure.
So shit constantly changes. But
yeah,
like, I've seen some shit growing up that I'm like, I don't think it was my brain. Like, it might have been. It's fine. But enough for me. Like, I think there's other shit, like, well beyond, whether it's entities in other dimensions that interact with us occasionally, whether it's demons, whatever. But there could be any number. It could be your fucking brain over it. I don't fucking know. But there's shit beyond our normal day-to-day understanding that absolutely exists. However you want to quantify that.
Sure.
But I can distinctly remember. I think I've told you this when I was a kid, and I don't remember shit when I was a kid. Like that. Like, I remember like pretty much nothing. But I have this distinct memory that I have remembered my entire fucking life. And that was, I lived in Atlanta or Marietta, and there was this fucking, I can remember the layout of every house we lived in, which is fucking weird. But anyway, so had these stairs, right? Had the big open master bedroom was off the main entrance, living room, fucking hallway, kitchen in the back, up the stairs. We had a computer room, like an open, like finished off attic type of thing here. Bathroom here. My sister's room, my room. My sister got this one because it was closer to my parents, even though we were both upstairs. But I remember woke up in the middle of the night, had to go to the fucking bathroom, whatever. Woke up in the middle of the night, walked out at the top of the stairs because the bathroom was almost right across from where the stairs were. There's a goddamn gargoyle looking motherfucker with red fucking eyes that was there. It scared the shit out of me. So I didn't have to go to the bathroom, but I was like, I need to get down to mom and dad's because it was going to follow me back to my room. That motherfucker tried to push me down the fucking stairs. I moderately followed it and managed to get by. Scared the shit out of me. I remember it to this day just as vividly as it happened then. And I remember the shit before church, before any of that stuff. Yeah. Stuck with my brain. Could have been a crazy little kid thinking about shit.
Sure.
But that shit still was like, what the fuck was that shit? Yeah. Crazy.
My brother saw a gargoyle looking thing when he was very young. Yeah. We had bunk beds at my mom's house, and he was very, very young, and he described it as a pink thing with wings, and it had fingers and toesies, is what he said.
Toesies,
like pointed claw looking things. And he said, and it kept going like this with its like hands to its mouth or whatever. And he said, and it flew down from my bed down to his bed. And he had gotten up to go into my mom's room.
Right.
And it flew from up there down to the bed. And then he went out into my mom's room.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was the same night. I may be wrong. But he gets to my mom's room and he's at her bed, and he's like, he whispers like, "Mom," and my mom wakes up like something bad happened. It's a fright to wake my mom up. She wakes up. She's like, "What? What?" And he's like, "I saw this thing or whatever." And she's telling, as she's going to tell him to get up to the bed, they both saw this bright light being.
Yeah, you told me about that part.
I haven't told you about that. Yeah. Bright light being come to the doorway of their room, floating in the air. And she said she didn't have her glasses on. My mom's fucking blind as a bat. But she said you could see like where feet would be, and there were no feet coming out from under whatever robe or whatever it had on or whatever. And it floated from the doorway to the end of the bed and stood there. She said it wasn't scary. It was more of a what is going on thing. And she got my brother up in the bed, and then it went dark in there, back normal, like no more, whatever they saw was not there. And then she just started seeing these little flickers of light all over the place. Now she chalks it up to spiritual warfare, and angels were fighting, of course, angels were fighting demons, and she was seeing the sparks from the swords clashing. But anyway,
well, what's weird to me about like the thing in Atlanta is that's the one place that I have more pockets of memories of than anywhere else I've lived.
Atlanta's fucked up. Like you just look from a Civil War perspective. And
well, you know, it's weird, and Amanda and I have talked about this on other occasions. And that's like there are certain towns, especially in the South, that you can go into that feel bad. Like Birmingham is one of those towns. Atlanta is one of those towns. And outside of like the visual or the poverty or whatever, but like they have
Birmingham has a distinct smell when you get into Birmingham.
But outside of smell, I just mean like the feeling of the town. Does that make sense? Like it's almost like a heavier feeling than other places you go.
Crystal feels that when we go back to Pulaski.
Pulaski for sure. Yeah, Pulaski's one. Fayetteville a little bit. Bigger cities like Birmingham for sure. Atlanta.
I bet Charlotte's like that.
Mobile.
Not Charlotte. Charleston.
Yeah, Charleston's like that. And it's really weird because it's these places with this history. Even before I knew the history shit, like it just is. There's really fucking like it's a darkness, if that makes it not
heaviness,
and not to sound like spiritual or anything like that, but just like the atmosphere, because people do radiate energy, whether whatever you want to chalk that up to. But I mean, that's a scientific thing, like where bodies are moving, their molecules, there's energy that's produced, and the energy in those areas are much fucking heavier than in other places, and it's a very odd thing to me. When you go to like, that's why nobody likes Blackpool if Andre's still working in England, because it's just a dark, shitty place. It's full of sadness and fucking.
I thought that was like the blaxploitation Deadpool.
Oh man, if they made a movie called Blackpool and it was about like basically a black Deadpool, I would watch that shit so hard.
Sure.
That would be amazing, especially if it was Ryan Reynolds
and Black Dynamite. No, you know it would be Samuel L. Jackson. Or Jamie Foxx or somebody. I don't know. But anyway,
by the way, I liked your idea. Like I was like, we can't do that. Like so earlier for Memorial Day, you were jokingly pitching the idea of Memorial Day, where we just talked about great tits throughout history. That would have been hilarious. I don't know. Like I like boobs, obviously. I think my wife has amazing boobs, but I've never been a huge like. I don't know how to put it. Like I notice boobs. I like boobs, but it's never been the complete focus of all of my attention. I'll never turn down, whatever.
So I just wanted to ask you before we go, like, do you think what I experienced last night was sleep paralysis, or do you think it was just a vivid nightmare, for lack of a better term?
I don't know. I really don't. Like it could be, any number of things. I don't chalk it up to one where they're like, I hate when people write shit off as one thing or another. Like, and I get as far as the scientific evidence we have at this point, sleep paralysis is the most common name for it. But I don't know, man. There's so many elements to so many fucking weird shit. And when we try as humans to describe it or to quantify it, and we just can't. Whether like I've had super fucking vivid dreams, and I don't know if you've done much reading like astral travel and out of body experiences, like all that type of shit, and all that stuff's crazy interesting to me.
There are some gyms on TikTok that do astral travel.
Oh, for sure. Well, there's people that control it and whatever, but I mean, like legitimate experiences when you're dreaming. Like I can remember as a kid, I had a couple things that I swear to shit that I was not. It wasn't a dream. Like I was fucking floating around some places, seeing some shit, and the result that I could describe to you were pretty fucking accurate, but it could have been any fucking night of the house. But to me, like I vividly remember them. I don't remember other things, but I remember shit like that. And so who the fuck knows? I think it was a legitimate thing you experienced, whether it was an actual, like ghost or sleep paralysis. Where I don't fucking know.
Sure,
and I really don't care.
No, sure. I just wonder what your thought was on it. Okay. That's a good place to go out.
I think so.
So just to reiterate what I said,
when is our 3 the Hard Way?
It is Father's Day for us, which is like the 20th.
Okay.
I think. Well, let's double check real quick. It is June 20th.
Okay.
We will live stream it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking sweet. Are we hosting it?
The last conversation that I had between me, Andre, and Josh. I'm just going to call him Josh.
Which, by the way, I like that you do some of this because I get to come in cold and completely meet people for the first time.
So, I mean, the general conversation we've had so far is, the question was thrown out, do we want to have a topic or do we want to just just kind of go, just start and go? And I think the decision has been made right now that we're just going to go.
Okay.
And I think Josh was good with that. He's like, I just like to hang out, shoot the shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
I do absolutely want to have the conversation with him about David Weiss because David was on his podcast.
Yeah, for sure. That needs to come up.
But and I don't even know how long it's going. We haven't even set a time limit.
I don't care. We'll just go.
But it's going to start at 7 a.m. here.
Oh, I thought it was 8 a.m.
No.
Oh, God damn it.
It's 7.
We're day drinking, motherfucker.
I know. Remember, we were going to do mimosas.
Yeah, I'm also bringing whiskey.
Well, of course. I mean, there's whiskey here already.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to have whiskey.
I don't know what we're drinking next week because this week has been crazy with the holiday. This tomorrow and recording different day.
It's going to be crazy. We should just rehash. We have so many bottles of shit.
Let's
fine.
Just
be a retake.
But because I do have a fresh bottle.
Somebody suggested at one point the reason we should announce it is so people can drink with us. Sure. But obviously nobody drinks with us. So fuck you people for not drinking with us.
So like I said earlier, there may not be a live stream next week.
Right. But
there will be an audio episode and there will be a video that goes to YouTube the following week. It just may not be live.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going on vacation next Saturday, so we're going to have to record on a different day.
Yep.
And then the next weekend may be the same scenario.
Well, and then in later in June, it's going to be
June is crazy for us
because I'm officiating a wedding.
That's right.
So, and that's that weekend. So that's going to be back a Thursday because I'm leaving on Friday. But anyway, this is going to be a crazy month. It's not going to be a standard every Saturday type of month.
But for
to make you feel better.
Yes.
To make you feel better. Come here. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. I'm not quitting you.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
No,
I didn't think you were.
I'm not quitting you.
What else,
I will.
What else
at some
were you
point.
going to
It'll
do?
be whenever you least expect it. You were very reluctant to give me your hand, you asshole.
I didn't know what you were doing. I wasn't sure if we were interlocking fingers.
We can interlock fingers too. This is what we do.
So just wanted to throw out there that I have been having conversations with
love you, Andre. Sleep sweet.
Good night, guys.
My sweet English prince.
Are you hitting the sheets alone, Andre? You got a lady waiting. You got a ladybird waiting for you.
Keep that pull-out game strong.
Yeah. For 38% of our audience, which is women. 38%. What I was going to say is women love true crime. I've been having some conversation with a lady that does a legitimate true crime podcast. Yep. She would have been on with us this weekend, but she's interviewing a detective and a family of a murdered girl.
Ooh.
So she couldn't be on with us.
Same, she wasn't interviewing the murdered girl.
Yeah, I know. Astral and spiritual and whatever. But
astral.
Yeah. So it looks like it'll be sometime in July. I don't have a date hammered out. But
we are probably in July also going to have a local girl that was a guest, or I shouldn't say a guest, was a contestant on American Idol and did okay. Didn't make it all the way through, but
her and her bass player because she doesn't want to come here just by herself.
I don't blame her. Right. I barely want to come here by myself, and we've been friends for 25 years.
Oh, we always come here together.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
I can't believe we've made a full fucking episode. This is insane.
We're over 2 hours now.
Yeah. And
So, all right. Until next time, goodbye
and good night.
Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at B3F Podcast and on Instagram at B3F_podcast. Send us your questions or comments to bfff.podcast@gmail.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen to the show. And as always, thanks for listening.